Chapter 499. Second brother, I just want to help you. You can't let anything happen to you in your current position. I know. I'll be careful. Also, Yun, I hope you won't look for your sister-in-law again. I'll treat today's matter as you being kind and don't want to pursue the matter. But Yun, I've always done things appropriately. I think you should know very well that I don't need you to remind me of my next step. I have my own plans for when I'll let my wife meet my father-in-law. Yun, sometimes kindness may not be rewarded. Don't you understand? Yan's hand trembled as he held the phone. I understand. Second brother, I didn't mean it. I'm hanging up, Zhang Zhao said coldly and hung up the phone. He let out a long sigh of relief. Good. He felt much more relaxed now that Yun was like this. She should be like this. She could make use of her original appearance. As a man, if he still had feelings for her all day long, he would be too much of a jerk. Divorce? These two words came out of her mouth easily. It was impossible for him to get a divorce. He could get a divorce if he wanted, but he had to wait until the day he saw her and the pain in his heart disappeared. Only then could he get a divorce. He hadn't escaped unscathed yet, so she should die with him. She wanted to leave? She wanted to leave him here alone. He, Zhang Zhao, had never been an easy person to get along with. Zhang Zhao acted as if nothing had happened and called Yi. I'm going home for dinner tonight. Cook for me. He hung up the phone. Yi received the order. Okay, cook for him. After dinner, Zhang Zhao deliberately didn't spend the night at Yi's house. He had to keep a distance from this woman. She was obviously poisonous. He wouldn't be stupid enough to touch her again. He kept reminding himself that he was a man with strong self-control. It was only a woman, so it was inevitable that he would be moved. At this age, it wasn't the first time he had been moved. Everything would pass. He also told himself that this period of time was just a little tough, but it would be fine after a while. Yi was the same as before. He started his own life and no longer paid attention to Zhang Zhao. Whatever Zhang Zhao wanted to do, whatever he told her to do, she would cooperate. She would act coquettishly and cutely just like before. He tried his best not to change their lives during the process. Zhang Zhao was the same as before their marriage. He treated her coldly from time to time. If he could hurt her, he would never comfort her. If he could take revenge, he would never coax her. Yi wanted to empty herself out, so she arranged a lot of activities for herself and looked for friends. Because she was a little afraid of Zheng Ling's mother, she didn't go to Zheng Ling's place. In the large workshop on the second floor, Qiu Xiaoya stood in front of the workbench. She fixed the three-dimensional cut with a pearl needle and used a pen to draw a line on the fabric. When Xiaoya was working, she was very serious and focused. It was impossible to associate her with a woman who usually spoke without thinking. Yi slapped Xiaoya's shoulder hard. Xiaoya was still holding a colorful pearl needle. When she turned around, she almost stabbed Yi. Are you crazy? Are you a ghost? Or did you die last night and crawl out of the grave to scare me? Hey, is there anyone who curses like you? Look at your pale face. Did you take too many birth control pills? Yi made a sound. Qiu Xiaoya, can you not be like this? Can't your words match your appearance? Qiu Xiaoya said, Oh, I'm sorry. I was wrong. But you shouldn't take birth control pills. It affects your skin and your endocrine system. Yi touched his face. He kind of believed Xiaoya's words. Don't tell me you don't want to take them. Xiaoya took off the wrist pillow on her wrist and inserted some unused pearl needles into it. Finally, she threw the needles into the tool tray. She picked up the glass of water on the table and took a big gulp. I'll take them. What if I get pregnant if I don't take them? What if the man doesn't want them after giving birth? Then why is your skin so good? Is my skin really that yellow? Yeah, you don't look too good recently. I recommend a birth control pill for you. My friend in the hospital has it. All the female doctors and nurses in the hospital take this. Wait a minute, I'll get it for you. Yi was speechless. Qiu Xiaoya, can you not be so bold? You actually brought birth control pills to the office. Are you ready to do bad things at any time? This is for after the event. Anyway, I have to come to work after the event. It's convenient to leave it in the office. I have a bottle at home too, in case I forget. As Xiaoya said this, she had already passed the bottle to Yi. Then she turned around to take a disposable cup and prepare to pour Yi some water. Ye looked at the bottle. You gave it to me. What about you? I can get it from my friend anytime. It's very convenient. Besides, I have some at home. Xiao put the cup to the water dispenser and asked, Do you want to drink hot, cold, or warm? Ye looked at the man beside him. He crossed his arms and looked coldly at Xiaoya, who was pouring water for him. He didn't dare to say anything. If Jiang Zhao wasn't around, who would subdue this stinky man? Hey, I'm asking you, Xiaoya said loudly in dissatisfaction. Then she turned around and saw Zhuang Yiqin standing there calmly. He pretended not to see him and said to Yi, I'm asking you what kind of water temperature is suitable. Zhuang Yiqin looked at Yi and pursed his lips into a smile. I think Mrs. Jiang doesn't like the water here and wants to go home to drink her own water. Yi held the birth control pills and nodded at Xiaoya. Okay, I'm not used to drinking them. I'll go back first. Hey, Yin Yi. Yi couldn't care less. Even Jiang Zhao said that they were a couple. What was she standing there for? The man's shiny leather shoes walked back and forth on the wooden floor. The sound of footsteps slowly traveled into Xiaoya's ears. Zhuang Yiqin was just looking around casually. Then he stood in front of Xiaoya. She poured a glass of warm water for him. President Zhuang, are you here to make clothes? Zhuang Yiqin didn't take the water. Yes. Xiaoya rolled her eyes at him and placed the glass on the office table. Your measurements are here. What style do you need? I'll send it to you when it's done. I've lost weight recently. I'll take the measurements again. Xiaoya scolded in her heart. You're asking for it. She took a soft tape measure and measured the width of the back, the length of the shirt, the length of the sleeves, the length of the sleeves, and the collar. Then she wrapped the tape measure around the man's neck and stuck a finger in. The man's Adam's apple bobbed a few times when her finger slid in. Xiaoya wasn't as tall as Yi. Standing on her tiptoes in front of Zhuang Yiqin, she felt uncomfortable. She would change into flat shoes the moment she arrived at work. The difference in height was huge. President Zhuang, wait. I'll go put on my high heels. However, the man grabbed her waist and teased. Why are you wearing high heels? To make it easier for you to kiss me? Xiaoya didn't resist. Haha, President Zhuang, you really know how to joke. How many men do I have to kiss in a day like this? Miss Chiu always keeps the morning after pill in her office. She's really meticulous. Zhuang Yiqin pursed his lips. He pinched Xiaoya's waist and lifted her up, allowing her to lean against him. Of course, women have to learn to protect themselves. Other than young Master Kong, who else does Miss Chiu prepare the morning after pill for? It's none of your business. It's none of your business. Zhuang Yiqin took 2 steps forward and pressed Xiaoya against the workbench that was filled with fabrics. He grabbed her chin and said in a deep voice, Don't think that I'll let you do whatever you want. Xiaoya tried to pry Zhuang Yiqin's hand away. Her chin hurt unbearably. I have nothing to do with you anymore. I'm free to live my life however I want. Oh, freedom is easy to write, but it's not easy to achieve. Let go of me. Zhuang Yiqin slid his hand under Xiaoya's skirt. The morning after pill is always kept in the office. I want to see if your skin will get better after you take it. Get lost. Zhuang Yiqin bit Xiaoya's ear and panted heavily. Little demon Xiao, do you want to call Kong Yun and ask him to come over? I want to know if his eyes will still be filled with honey when he looks at you. Xiaoya was shocked out of her wits. She didn't know what he was talking about. What nonsense are you talking about? Are you crazy? Protect him. Hey, you pervert. I already said that it has nothing to do with you. Get out of here. I'll get out when I'm done. I'm not interested in satisfying you. Bastard. Yi saw that it was almost time to get off work. She still had to go home and cook for Jiang Zhao. She had to serve him well. Professionalism was a must. The dishes on the table that night were all Jiang Zhao's favorites. They were light, and there weren't many meat dishes. While Jiang Zhao was eating, he said to Yi, You're on parole for medical treatment. It'll be approved the day after tomorrow. However, they won't state the real cause of your injury. The application documents state that you fell down the stairs while you were working. Yi-er's hand that was holding her chopsticks trembled. It's good that you're out now. We'll talk about the rest later. She looked at Jiang Zhao, who was eating with his head lowered. She smiled and said sweetly, Thank you, hubby. You're welcome. Like you said, we don't owe you anything. Yer nodded. The next night, they went back to the Qin family for dinner. Unwoo brought his girlfriend over for dinner. The girl's name wasn't, and it had been sitting beside Unwoo the whole time. She looked very quiet and matched well with Unwoo. She would blush if they talked too much. Unwoo, I brought my girlfriend over today. Grandpa Qin has to give your daughter a big red packet. Qin Rongfeng asked Uncle Wu to prepare it as he spoke. Unwoo appeared very generous. He patted the girl's hand. Hurry up and thank Grandpa Qin. The girl blushed slightly and nodded. Thank you, Grandpa Qin. Qin Fian said, Grandpa is really biased. I've never heard of him giving me a big red packet or anything like that. Your red packet? After the artificial insemination is successful, I'll give a very, very big red packet to the girl who gets pregnant for you. And then couldn't take such a huge blow, and her face turned red. Qin Fian looked at him. Don't be like this. I'm gay. Everyone in Haicheng knows that. Did you just come to Haicheng? You're so surprised by such a small piece of news. And then said, I grew up with Unwoo in Japan. Yinwu's gaze shifted slightly from time to time and landed on the girl he liked sitting opposite him. Yi ate his food and was occasionally amused by Jiang Zhao. He looked away. He really didn't want to see such a scene. After dinner, Yi found Unwoo in the garden. Unwoo. Yinwu's eyes were still as clear as a spring. He smiled warmly. Yi haha, I didn't disturb you, did I? Unwoo looked at him, who was standing beside him, and shook his head. Of course not. Unwoo, I was wondering when you'd like to take the painting back. Yi felt that it wasn't good to leave his nude painting with others. Moreover, when he drew it, he wanted to keep it as a memento. What kind of memento would it be if he didn't take it back? Come take a look. Xinwu 799. Chapter 500. Sure, give me your phone number. I'll send it to you another day. Unwoo was about to take out his phone to write down the number when he saw Jiang Zhao walking over. He pulled in over and said to Yi and it isn't familiar with Haicheng. Why don't you go shopping together often? And it can also buy some things she likes. I don't want to go shopping with a girl. And it seemed very interested too. Sure. I was just about to go. Unwoo said that it's better to read than to go shopping. Who knows how fun shopping is? Isn't that right, sister-in-law? Jiang Zhao walked over to Yi and patted Yi's shoulder. You guys have company now. It's good to go out and have fun often. Unwoo looked at Jiang Zhao and said helplessly, girls like to do that kind of thing. When it comes to shopping, they're more excited than anything else. I feel like we're going to the execution ground. Jiang Zhao laughed and said, there's a difference between men and women. Jiang Zhao received a call from Zhuang Yichen. He said concisely, I'll wait for you at Zhaojun. I'll tell you in person. Yi asked, what's the matter? Jiang Zhao lifted his wrist and reached out to pull up his sleeves. He looked at the time and said, I'll get Uncle Wu to send you back later. I have something urgent to attend to, so I'll leave first. Unwoo stopped Jiang Zhao. There's no need to trouble Uncle Wu. I'll send sister-in-law off on my way back later. Thank you, Unwoo. You're too polite. After Jiang Zhao left, Unwoo suggested that he visit another day. Yi hitched a ride. She and sat in the back while Unwoo sat in the front passenger seat. Yi felt that Inen was not very gentle. When she smiled, she could also be very happy. Unwoo looked at Yi from the rearview mirror and could not help but be moved. She turned around and said to Inen, Yi's nose is a little dirty. Help her wipe it. Inen glanced at Unwoo and took out a neatly folded handkerchief from her bag. Sister-in-law, come, I'll wipe the dirt off the tip of your nose for you. Yi reached out and touched it. Am I that careless? Do it yourself. It's fine. Inen insisted on helping Yi. Yi wondered what was on the tip of his nose that Inen needed to wipe it for so long. The handkerchief smelled really good. He couldn't help but want to smell it a few more times. He shook his head and felt a little dizzy. She was getting dizzier and dizzier. She looked at Unwoo, who had turned around to look at her. Yinwu's face was filled with circles. It was as if a stone had been thrown into a pond. The circles kept spreading outwards. Jiang Zhao rushed over to Peerless Beauty. He guessed that something important must have happened. He directly pressed the elevator button from the underground garage and went up to Zhaojun. When he stepped out of the elevator, he saw Zhuang Yiqin shaking the dice alone. Zhaojun was different from other private rooms. There was no strange smell. There was no need to use air fresheners to cover up the smell of cigarettes, alcohol, or vomit. The lights were also brighter. Jiang Zhao sat down. Zhuang Yiqin sat up straight. You asked me to investigate the Lei family that disappeared 12 years ago. Yes. Jiang Zhao listened carefully. At that time, only 2 people survived. One was Lei Zhenqian, and the other was his 8-year-old grandson. Jiang Zhao glanced at Zhuang Yiqin and motioned for him to continue. Zhuang Yiqin continued, You don't know this, but his grandson killed 13 people when he was just 8 years old. What's even more unbelievable is that this 8-year-old boy's marksmanship was extremely accurate. Later on, the boy was shot and his heart was damaged. Lei Zhenqian didn't hesitate to spend a large sum of money to replace his heart. Since then, there hasn't been any news about the Lei family. That's all I can find out. Jiang Zhao was shocked. You're saying that the 8-year-old boy killed 13 people with a gun? Yes. Jiang Zhao thought about Unwu. He thought about his pair of eyes and the way he usually spoke. His skin was so soft and tender. Even after he was praised by Yi Er, he specially checked his hands. There were no calluses at all. A boy who was as pure as a puddle of water killed 13 people when he was just 8 years old? He couldn't believe it. Is there a mistake? Zhuang Yiqin shook his head. After investigating for so long, I didn't want to make a mistake. But after that, just like you said, they disappeared into thin air. But at that time, the Lei family was jointly exterminated by 2 Japanese families. These 2 families have been declining since 8 years ago, and they didn't have any enemies to take revenge on. I just feel that it's a little strange. The important direct shareholders of these 2 families were all ruined. Basically, they were secretly hiding large amounts of heroin. Moreover, they were all forced to investigate in China. You have to know that there is a death penalty in China. If this has something to do with the Lei family, then I can only say that the Lei family is too tolerant. Jiang Zhao's brows were furrowed the whole time. He looked at Zhuang Yiqin and said seriously, Yiqin, what do you think a person who seems to have no desires and is pure of heart and few desires means? Zhuang Yiqin thought for a while. First, he really is pure of heart and few desires. Nothing can arouse his interest. Second, he is too shrewd and knows how to hide too well. Moreover, he hides so well that no one can see that he has desires. Jiang Zhao only felt abnormally vexed. A flash of inspiration flashed through his mind as he recalled that day at the birthday banquet, when Grace had eagerly extended her hand to her. His right eye twitched violently. He stood up and took out his phone to call the Qin residence. Uncle Wu, where's Yi? Young Master Unwu said that he would send young Mistress Sun back. He left a long time ago. Jiang Zhao called Yi Er's cell phone again, but no one answered. After hanging up, he said to Zhuang Yiqin, I'm leaving first. He quickly went to press the elevator button. Yi Er's breathing was shallow. The car was still moving slowly on the road, and was already sitting in the front passenger seat, while Unwu sat in the back. The partition in the middle was pulled up, and the back seat became a private space. Yi Er's head rested on Yunwa's lap, and the boy's soft fingers slowly stroked her face. Unwu had never been so close to Yi Er before. He couldn't help but lay her down flat and bend her slender legs. When he bent her legs, her skirt slid from her knees to her thighs, revealing her sexy underwear. He watched as her eyes were closed, and the 2 small brushes on her eyes didn't move. He planted a kiss on her eyes. As if he couldn't help it, he kissed her forehead, the tip of her nose, and her cherry lips. He squatted in front of her and looked at her sleeping face. He looked at her lips that were still stained with his saliva and shone with an alluring luster. He stretched out his fingers and pressed them gently. They were very soft. He wondered what her mouth tasted like. He really wanted to know. Hence, he stuck his tongue into her mouth and tasted it. Men were naturally familiar with everything related to sex. Even though he had never kissed anyone before, he quickly went from being unfamiliar with it to taking a deep breath. He wouldn't let her lips escape from his mouth again. This was empty space. The car drove steadily, but he felt more and more uneven. Her chest was rising and falling, and her long and fair legs were exposed. He put his hand under her neck and held the back of her head. He kissed her again, and when he let go, his forehead was covered in sweat. His voice was slightly trembling, but it was still cold. "Go to Hyatt." The driver in front of the partition said mechanically, "Yes, young master." Jiang Zhao was still calling Yi Er's phone. He didn't know Yunwu's phone number, and calling the Shi family at this time to ask would be making a mountain out of a molehill. Jiang Zhao's feet were on the brakes. He didn't know why, but he was inexplicably nervous. It was as if he was walking into a dark forest and a monster would jump out at any time. It made him nervous. The car drove to Yi Er's neighborhood. He pulled out the car key, got out, slammed the door, and looked up. There was no light on the 6th floor. His legs were very long, and he could climb 3 stairs in one big step. He ran up to the 6th floor in a few steps. He knocked on the door. He took out the key and turned the lock. He turned on the lights and shouted, "Yun Yi, Yun Yi." No one answered him. He immediately closed the door and jumped down the stairs. The car key was still in his hand. He pressed the sensor, and the lights flashed twice. He opened the door, got in, and started driving. In the middle of this, he kept calling Yi Er. Yi Er would never ignore his calls. Every time it rang 2 or 3 times, she would pick up because his ringtone was different. He drove directly to the Shi family's house. He got out of the car calmly and said that he was passing by the Shi family's house on the way to the office building. He asked casually, "Unwu isn't back yet?" The helper said, "Young master isn't back yet." Jiang Zhao looked at Shi Jintian. "That's true. I've troubled Unwu today. I went to the building just now, and Unwu sent Yi Er to her house for me. He might be a little late." Shi Jintian frowned. What if Unwu sent Yi Er? He didn't dare to think about it. Jiang Zhao glanced at Shi Jintian's expression. Even if it was just for a second, it didn't escape his eyes. He said politely to Shi Jintian, "Grandpa Shi, I'll take my leave first. Yi Er might be home already." Okay. Zhao Zhao, come over another day. Grandpa Shi, you should arrange a meal too. Okay. Jiang Zhao wasn't in the mood to talk about a meal. The moment he stepped out of the Shi family's garden, he called Zhua Hao. "How's he? Is it convenient to check your location?" Unwu carried Yi Er into the hotel's luxurious suite and then closed the door behind them. Her movements were a little mechanical and expressionless. After laying Yi Er flat on the bed, Unwu heaved a sigh of relief and lay down beside her, and then looked at the 2 people on the bed and said expressionlessly, "Little master, I'll go to the living room outside." Unwu grunted. The boy lying beside Yi stretched out his hand and passed it through her palm along the soft white blanket. Then their fingers intertwined and held tightly. It was said that the 10 fingers were connected to the heart. If she was awake, would she let him hold her hand like this? He wasn't sure. He always saw her smile at Jiang Zhao. He always saw them being intimate. He didn't have the confidence. He was jealous and couldn't bear it. He tossed and turned in bed every night. In the middle of the night, he would wake up and read some nonsense like the best is like water. He had enough of that life that was like plain water. That feeling of being moved was wonderful, but if he couldn't get it, his heart would be like this. It hurt so much. He wanted to hide her, but how? He told Grandpa that he wanted to go overseas, but Grandpa saw through his thoughts. He could leave, but he wasn't allowed to stay in High City. In his eyes, she and Jiang Zhao looked so incompatible. How old was Jiang Zhao? He was already 30, right? She was only 19. All right, even if Jiang Zhao was 29, he was still 10 years older than her. They weren't compatible. She and Shi Unwu were compatible. She was 19, and he was 20. They were the most compatible. Why didn't she tell him about her predicament earlier? Why didn't he tell her earlier? Why didn't he let her know that he actually had a strong background and that he could help her? She didn't have to betray herself and marry an old man. After knowing that she forced Jiang Zhao to marry her, the Qin and Jiang families were so reluctant. Why didn't she force him? Grandpa definitely wouldn't object. Grandpa would definitely like the girl he liked. Unwu turned around and pulled Yi Er into his arms again. She was so soft that she didn't have any strength left. She let him hug her. Looking at her lips, he kissed her again. Awesome novel, Shinwu 799. Chapter 501. As he kissed her, he wanted to bite her. His breathing was so rapid that his heart was about to jump out of his chest. Even though she didn't react at all and only breathe, he still felt like he was being seduced. He reached out and slowly pulled up her clothes. A pair of eyes that were as clear as water began to mist, and a hazy smoke rose from them. The tip of her nose was gently rubbing against it. It was so ticklish that even his cells started to itch. Jiang Zhao had been waiting for Zhuo Hao's call. Taking advantage of this time, he called Zhuang Yichen. As soon as the call connected, he started cursing. "You F***king psychopath. Why can't you talk about that over the phone? Why must I go to your place? When did you F***king become such a troublemaker?" Zhuang Yichen was stunned by his scolding. Jiang Zhao wasn't a good person, but he wouldn't act vulgar in public. He had never scolded him like that before. Even if he scolded others, he didn't use a real scolding tone. At most, his tone was cursing in a low voice. Thinking back to when he left Zhaojun, he called to ask about Yun Ye's whereabouts. Feeling that the situation was a little serious, he frowned and asked, "Hey, did you lose the woman?" "Zhuang Yichen, it's good that you're fine. If something happens, I'll F***king kill you." Zhuang Yichen knew that Jiang Zhao wasn't calm at this time, so he didn't argue with him. He stood up with the phone in his hand. "Do you need me to do anything?" At this moment, Jiang Zhao's phone rang. He gritted his teeth and said, "I'm hanging up. Zhuang Yichen, just you wait." Zhuo Hao called. Jiang Zhao picked it up. "How is it?" "Brother, the car's location isn't easy to check. This kind of car isn't afraid of being stolen. The owner seems to be against location tracking. This kind of system has been modified, but the number you gave me wasn't turned off. Her SIM card's location is at Grand Hyatt Hotel." Jiang Zhao's hands clenched the steering wheel. The two of them didn't go anywhere. They went to the hotel and didn't pick up the phone either. His hairline started to sweat. He raised the back of his hand and wiped the tip of his nose. It was already sweating. "How's he? Get a car full of people from the army to Grand Hyatt. Don't let even a fly go. Now, right now." Jiang Zhao felt that his voice must have sounded like a roar. He couldn't calm down. His wife didn't pick up her phone, but she went to the hotel. The Shi family was indeed a big tree. If Shi Enyo really had feelings for her, what was she up to? He didn't want to believe that she would do such a thing, but the person he didn't believe now was Shi Enyo. This boy could kill 13 people when his family was destroyed. This boy's hands were stained with so much blood at the age of 8, but he could still clean the filth in his eyes. What a terrifying person he was. Just like Zhuang Yichen said, unless he was so cunning that everyone thought he had no conscience. "Brother, what happened?" Zhuo Hao asked nervously after hearing Jiang Zhao's vicious tone. "What happened? If it happened, tell Grand Hyatt to get out of Sea City." "Yes, and the Shi family." Zhuo Hao didn't ask for more details. "If it's serious, is a car full of people enough? If you think it's not enough, then get 3 to 5 cars. In any case, block all the roads." Jiang Zhao started the car and added, "Don't mention a word to grandfather." "Okay, don't worry. If I can't even do something like this, what kind of brother are we?" Jiang Zhao hung up the phone, stepped on the accelerator, turned the steering wheel, and made a U-turn in one smooth motion. The tires screeched sharply on the ground, leaving black tire marks. He almost didn't step on the brakes as he rushed in the other direction of the main road. Jiang Zhao's car made a big turn and changed lanes. Other than the traffic lights, there wasn't much traffic at night. However, people's hearts were very congested. His mind was filled with all kinds of things that happened with her. When they met again, he asked her about the bloodstains on the bed, and she denied it. He knew that it was her first time, and he was drugged. He was also clear about his mental state at the time. It wasn't like he was drugged, so he should have been able to tell the difference between a woman's reaction under his body. But she didn't admit it. He was angry because she didn't admit it. Her refusal to admit it meant that she didn't mind at all. Now, he still remembered her expression. She really didn't mind at all. That expression was like she was bitten by a cat or a dog. He was so angry that he wanted to drown her with alcohol. Later, when they were together, she was no different from the first time. He teased her that the quality of 300,000 yuan a night was too bad, but she still followed him and didn't explain. When EF asterisked her, it was very smooth, but she was still so painful. Obviously, no man had touched her before. She just moaned and stiffened for a long time before she recovered. Sometimes, he felt that she was a mutant of women. How could a woman not care about her first time? The car was driving very fast. He felt that he was as crazy as he was when he just got his driver's license. He would race with his friends to see who could race faster. He would put his younger brother together to play with him. If he was scolded by his younger brother, it would be much lighter. He had been so insidious since he was a child. The people he met were also insidious. When he was a child, it was his elder brother, Jiang Rue. They played tricks on each other and often made trouble for each other. Later, it was his business rival. He didn't care too much about it. Life was just a matter of playing tricks on each other. Otherwise, it would be boring. But now, he had been so patient because of this woman. She didn't let him worry less. She couldn't even rest for a day. Whenever she was free, she would make trouble for him. The car was driving so fast. He felt that he was old because he hadn't driven so fast for many years. The car was so fast that everything flying by outside the window became a line with a light tail. Old. She was still so young, 19 years old. Shi Yunwu, 20 years old. He held the steering wheel tightly, and even his chin was tightly pressed together. When his elder brother and sister-in-law were together, he even patted Jiang Rue's shoulder and said, "Brother, you're an old cow eating young grass." Jiang Rue even kicked him. He added, "But you're still strong despite your age." He was kicked again. Now, he had found someone younger than his sister-in-law. Damn it. Shouldn't the younger ones be more innocent? Didn't sister-in-law ask my brother to make decisions for her all the time? Didn't sister-in-law think for my brother all the time? Why was she so playful all the time? They both proposed. At that time, when sister-in-law proposed to my brother, Grandpa cried every time he talked about it. Why were they so affectionate? Why was there such a big difference in treatment between brothers? He was also proposing to a woman. How did it become a forced marriage? He forced her, but she didn't love him. Wasn't she ruining him? The car shot into the parking lot of Kaiwa. He slammed the door and went straight to the reception. Asking which room did the person who checked in with Shi Yunwa's name stay? Who in High City didn't know the handsome and rich mayor like Jiang Zhao? What's more, when the mayor asked, it must be a big deal. But after checking the computer, there was no record of Shi Yunwu checking into a room. It was very difficult. At this time, the sound of high-powered trucks' accelerators rushed in one after another. Even the receptionist couldn't help but look outside. The cars outside stopped one after another, followed by the sound of orderly footsteps. It wasn't messy, but it was loud. Military boots were always so strong and powerful. A security guard ran in. The marble floor was polished like a mirror, and it was a little slippery when he ran too fast. The security guard tried hard to stop and almost fell. He held on the marble counter and said to Miss in a panic, "Hurry up and find the manager. This is bad. There are 5 military trucks, and there are dozens of soldiers in each truck. Did something happen to our Kaiwa?" Jiang Zhao said coldly to Miss in front of the receptionist, "Get me the CCTV footage. Also give me all the IDs of the people who checked in between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. Zhua Hao was wearing a simple military uniform and walked over. He greeted Jiang Zhao, "Brother." Miss in front of the receptionist was still obsessed with another handsome man. But when she saw the Lieutenant Colonel epaulette on Zhua Hao's shoulder and his cold face, she was so scared that she immediately listened to Jiang Zhao's words. When the military came to visit, it was different from the ordinary police. They had to show you their IDs. If you dare to say something sarcastic and talk about the law, sorry, those people in the trucks would stomp their feet in unison. Those who were fine would think that something had happened. Jiang Zhao went into the front desk and just looked at the CCTV footage. Miss in front of the receptionist kept checking the records and then reported one by one, until a name was reported, and Qian. Jiang Zhao looked up at Miss in front of the receptionist. "Show me the scanned ID." Miss in front of the receptionist moved the computer screen and pointed it at Jiang Zhao. When she saw the ID photo, she said, and then her eyes were sharp and cold, She took the mouse from Miss in front of the receptionist and slid the wheel up and down to see the room number. She said coldly to the receptionist, "Swipe the spare room card for this room and give it to me." Miss in front of the receptionist didn't dare to disobey. She was afraid that something big was going to happen in the hotel. Jiang Zhao held the room card in his hand and strode out of the front desk. When he passed by Zhuo, he said, "I'll call you later. You're downstairs." "Okay." 1326. Jiang Zhao silently recited this number in his heart and watched the numbers of the elevator change one by one. He felt that every second was like a year. The trajectory of his life was almost completely disrupted by this woman called Yun Yi. It was a mess, but he would rather continue to live like this in chaos. He didn't know what he was insisting on. With a ding, the elevator door opened. He looked at the numbers on the door and pointed to the direction. Then he started walking. His steps were fast and big. The carpet was soft, but the sound of his heavy footsteps could be heard. He held the door handle and put the room card that had been warmed up in the sensor area. With a beep, the red light flashed and turned green. He pressed the door handle hard and pushed it open. The moment he pushed it open, he almost wanted to close the door again. The man and woman on the sofa were kissing passionately. The woman's shoulder strap had slipped halfway, revealing half of her fair and round breasts. The woman's clothes had been pushed up by the man on top of her, revealing her graceful waist. The man's hand was caressing the woman's fair and tender legs. Jiang Zhao was a little embarrassed. Just as he was about to go out, Unwu climbed down from An's body. He stood up and tidied his clothes. He looked a little embarrassed. "Brother Zhao." "Oh," Jiang Zhao responded. He had forgotten the lines in the script. "Yi Er is here?" An turned her back and started to tidy her clothes. Unwu nodded. "Sister-in-law fell asleep in the car just now. I don't know where she lives, so I didn't wake her up. She's inside." Jiang Zhao didn't know what to feel now. When he looked at Unwu, he couldn't bring himself to smile. He turned and went into the bedroom. Yi Er was well covered with a blanket. Her clothed shoulders were exposed. She was in good condition. She slept on her side and seemed to be sleeping soundly. Awesome novel. Songshu 566. Chapter 502. He walked over and touched her face. Kneeling on the bed, he leaned down and kissed her on the cheek. Smiling, he said, "Damn little fox. You scared your husband to death. You slept soundly." As if the person outside the bedroom wasn't there, he took Yi Er's bag from the bedside table and opened it. The phone inside was on, but there were already 3 digits of missed calls. Seeing these numbers, he knew that he was going crazy. He looked at the settings again and saw that it was silent. He threw the phone back into the bag and turned around to lie down. He was really exhausted. At this moment, he didn't want to go anywhere. He just wanted to hold her in his arms. Unwu stood outside the car screen. Clenching his fists, he wanted to walk over. Anan took his hand and patted it. She looked at him, frowned, and shook her head. Jiang Zhao also felt that there was someone outside. He pulled his arm out from under Yi Er's neck and walked outside to say to Unwu, "Unwu, your sister-in-law is sleeping soundly. I won't wake her up. We'll stay here tonight. Why don't you and get another room?" Yunwu's heart was in turmoil. He couldn't speak. "They're staying here tonight? What are they staying here for? What will they do?" Anan held Yunwu's arm. She still looked a little shy. "It's okay, Brother Zhao. Unwu and I'll go back to stay. We wanted to wait for sister-in-law to wake up or call you to pick us up. We'll get going first." "Okay, we'll have to trouble you then." Jiang Zhao smiled. When the two of them left the room, his smile disappeared completely. He called Zhuo and asked him to come up. Zhuo entered the room. Jiang Zhao carefully took out Yi Er's phone from her bag. "Go and compare my fingerprints. I'll give you mine and Yi Er's later. See who else has it besides ours." Zhuo found a slipper cover from the closet at the entrance and put the phone inside. Jiang Zhao didn't believe that Yi Er would mute her phone. She was different from other little girls. She was very vigilant and always worried if someone was looking for her or if there was good news about Yin Hongwei. She wouldn't miss a single message. How could someone who had her phone on 24 hours a day mute her phone before she got home? At this moment, Yi Er heard some movement. She softly said, rubbing her eyes. She saw Jiang Zhao and Zhuo standing in the room. Jiang Zhao then asked Chua how to go back first. Yi saw that only Jiang Zhao was in the room. She mumbled, "Hubby, did you bring me to get a room?" Jiang Zhao sat by the bed and took off his shoes. He really didn't want to move today. The woman hugged him from behind. When the woman smiled, she said naughtily, "Wow, hubby, why are you so flirtatious today? You actually brought me to get a room?" Jiang Zhao turned around. The woman's hair was messy and she was looking up at him. Her eyes were darting around. In his mind, Shi Yunwu's shadow jumped out again. He lifted Ye's clothes and skirt and checked them up and down. There were no traces at all. He shook his head and felt that he was thinking too much. When he entered the room, he clearly saw Shi Yunwu and in putting on a show of affection. He had caused such a big commotion just now. He wanted to vent his anger, but when he saw her looking at him like that, he couldn't vent his anger. Moreover, she didn't seem to know anything. Did she actually think that he brought her to get a room? Childish. Didn't she know that a golden nest couldn't compare to her own? But if he had really brought her to get a room, would she be so happy? Did she really think that he was flirtatious? He leaned over and bit her breasts. "Let's go take a shower?" Yi didn't know what Jiang Zhao was checking. She only thought that he was flirting again. Hug. Let's not do anything. Just hug. Hubby, hug me." Yi hugged Jiang Zhao's neck and refused to let go. She twisted her body and acted coquettishly. When she saw Jiang Zhao's flirtatious look, she wanted to teach him a lesson. This B** starred tortured her to death. He made her unable to sleep well every day. If he didn't let her have a good time, she wouldn't let him have a good time either. She wanted an eye for an eye. "Hug me after you take a shower. Be good." Jiang Zhao couldn't take it anymore after being twisted by Yi a few times. When he was looking for her, he had lost a lot of juice. He felt that he must be smelly. No, I just want a hug." Yi pouted and kept asking for a hug. When she moved, she purposely rubbed against Jiang Zhao. "I'm sweaty. I stink. Let's take a shower together." Jiang Zhao's voice was hoarse. He didn't want to lose points in bed because of the smell of sweat. "It's not smelly. Hubby doesn't stink at all. Hubby is manly. That's the smell of a man. Let's hug Yi to sleep." Yi purposely didn't look into Jiang Zhao's eyes. They had a tacit understanding in this aspect. Just by looking at each other's eyes, they knew what he wanted to do. Just by listening to his voice, she knew that he couldn't take it anymore. She wanted him to be unable to take it. Didn't they say that men were creatures with lower bodies? He tortured her psychologically, so she used her soft body to torture him. They were even. Yi calculated wrong. She just wanted a hug, but it didn't mean that the man agreed. As they hugged, he took off his clothes. As they hugged, they started doing it naturally. She couldn't resist it. Yi came to a conclusion for herself. So women were creatures with lower bodies too. Otherwise, why would her stance be so weak? The hotel's bedsheets and blankets were all white and very eye-catching. Their first time was outside. They had never booked a room outside. It was obviously much more exciting. Now that they were in a new environment, they wanted to challenge different levels. Yi couldn't take it anymore. She started to regret that she couldn't resist the man's temptation. She started to regret that she had become a creature with lower bodies. She started to reflect on herself. Tomorrow, she was determined to be a pure and kind girl. She would abandon all her evil desires. She couldn't be a female hooligan in her thoughts. Yi was so angry that she couldn't catch her breath. "Hey, Mum, it's okay. I just want a hug. You're going overboard." The man hugged the woman tightly and patted her butt. He smiled and said, "Sex starts from hugging. It's not like you don't know. Isn't it better to hug and do it? Won't it give you a sense of security?" "Bullshit. You're about to die. How can you feel safe? Have you ever seen someone who's about to see the king of hell feel safe? She was about to die because of him. You're about to see the king of hell? Mum, yes. You're about to send me to the king of hell. Be good. That's to make your trip pleasant. Visit more. Later, I'll send you to the heavens to see the Queen Mother. Hubby, if I see the Queen Mother, I won't do it anymore. Otherwise, I'll be crippled." "You won't be crippled. Sleep for a night, and you'll still be a good man tomorrow." Yi was unconvinced. Her face flushed red. "You're the good man. I'm not. I'm a beauty. I'm a beauty." Jiang Zhao saw that Yi was really unable to take it. so he slowed down. He held Yi Er's head and kissed her on the lips. "Thank you for the compliment, wifey. But my beautiful wifey is a man on the inside." Yi Er was furious. Who would do it on the bed? Did he love her and say that his wife was a man? This was too hurtful to her pride. She wanted to resist passively and not cooperate with him anymore. She wanted to let him do whatever he wanted. But her body's reaction was too weak. Even when it was over, Yi Er still ignored Jiang Zhao. She was still angry. She was so angry that she was about to suffer internal injuries. People said that a woman would doll herself up for her lover. Her husband treated her as a man. This was too insulting. Jiang Zhao came out of the shower and pushed Yi Er. "What's wrong? I don't want to talk to you. Let's go." Jiang Zhao tore off the bath towel, lifted the blanket, and went to sleep. He hugged his woman. Who was the one who was desperately calling for her husband just now? Now that you're full, you're chasing me away? You're also flipping your face faster than flipping a book, right? Yi Er was angry and pushed Jiang Zhao away. "Jiang Zhao, where's your face?" Jiang Zhao took Yi Er's hand and placed it on his face. He rubbed in a big circle. "Luo, wifey, it's here. Don't you have eyes to see? Can you touch it?" Yi Er pulled back her hand abruptly and looked at Jiang Zhao with disdain. "I can feel it. I can feel the city wall made of reinforced concrete." Jiang Zhao looked at Yi Er's expression and laughed. "Look at you, woman. Hey, Yin Er, tell your husband." "What exactly are you? Why do you have so many opinions about your husband? Didn't you say that I'm a little fox? You've already mutated. You're a little fox now." Of course, her heart was very hard. "Jiang Zhao, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you." As she spoke, she sat on top of Jiang Zhao and hit and punched him. This bastard was saying that she didn't look like a woman. It was too infuriating. The man laughed. "Haha, come on. Hey, don't run. Come on. Hey, Yin Er, don't run. Didn't I ask you to come?" Yi Er wrapped herself tightly in the blanket. She would be an idiot if she didn't run. The morning after indulging in debauchery was evil. The evil cell phone alarm, the evil morning sun, the evil work, and everything that disturbed his dreams. When he was about to get out of bed, he flipped over and pressed down on Yi Er. He gave her a morning kiss and said, "Yinyi, I'll get someone to tidy up the house today. I'm going to pick up Dad in the afternoon. Call me when you've had enough sleep, okay?" Yi Er was shocked. She tried to sit up, but was knocked back onto the bed. She saw stars and was in so much pain that her eyeballs were about to fall out. Jiang Zhao's nose started bleeding from the impact. Yi Er didn't have time to care about her own pain. She only knew that bright red blood was dripping onto her face. She was scared out of her wits. Zhao. Yi Er sat up and reached out to cover Jiang Zhao's nose. Her hands were shaking. Zhao, what should we do? What should we do? He's bleeding a lot. Jiang Zhao sat up straight and raised his head. Before he could say that he was fine, Yi Er jumped off the bed and took out a box of tissues. She took out handfuls of tissues and used them to wipe away the blood on Jiang Zhao's face. Her eyes seemed to be in a daze. What should we do? I'll call an ambulance. Wait here. I'll call an ambulance. Yi Er reached for her bag again. Her hands are covered in blood. When she touched the milky white bag, it was a ghastly sight. She couldn't find her phone, so she poured out everything inside. Where's my phone? Jiang Zhao looked at Yi Er, who kept fumbling around incoherently. He watched as her tears fell as she searched for her phone. He felt terrible. Was it because they had known each other for a long time that they developed feelings for each other? VXN. He pulled her over and hugged her in his arms. In order to not let his nose bleed, he raised his chin a little and said gently, "Honey, I'm fine. It's just a little nosebleed. What did you think it was? I'll be fine after lying down. Look, it's not bleeding anymore." Beauty novel Xinwu 799. Chapter 503. Yi Er saw that Jiang Zhao's face was covered in blood from her touch. She didn't know that her face was also covered in blood when she wiped her tears, so she made fun of Jiang Zhao's ugly appearance. So ugly, so pathetic, so disgusting. Look at you, you bad guy. All bad guys don't have a good ending like you. You made such a big fuss over a nosebleed. Jiang Zhao didn't care. He hugged Ye and rubbed the blood on his face on her neck. He smiled mischievously and said, "Hey, weren't you worried sick just now? Have you fallen in love with me?" Yunyi, don't tell me you've fallen in love with me? Ye was stunned. What did he mean? Was he laughing at her? Was he laughing at her for being so worried about him? Was he laughing at her for falling in love with him first? Was he laughing at her for being such a fool? Ye snorted and said, "What are you thinking about? Why fall in love with you? I would never fall in love with a bad man like you. I'm just afraid that if you die, the police will arrest me as a suspect. I don't want to go to jail. I still have a brother to take care of." Seriously, you're so full of yourself. Jiang Zhao's expression turned cold, but it instantly swept away his gloomy and unhappy expression. He exhaled and turned around to press Ye under his body. He didn't care about how inappropriate his image was at this moment. He smiled playfully and said, "Let's play a game. How about that?" "What game?" Jiang Zhao looked into Ye's eyes and said, "You said it yourself. We don't have feelings for each other, and we don't love each other. Why don't we make a bet? Whoever falls in love with the other first loses. How about that?" Ye clenched her fists in her heart. "Yi, see? Good job. Luckily, you didn't embarrass yourself by admitting that you've fallen in love with him. Although you've already lost at the starting line, you're still far away. You still have a chance to win, right?" She raised her neck and confidently opened her eyes. She smiled brightly and said, "Okay." Jiang Zhao gritted his teeth and stared at Ye for a few seconds. Jiang Zhao looked at Ye and said confidently, "Okay." It was as though he had signed a contract with God and would never go back on his word. He told himself to endure it. He couldn't bear to hit her, so he would just bear with it. Just wait and see. One day, this little hussy would fail miserably. She was amazing and self-righteous now. She didn't believe that she still didn't have feelings for him after living together for so long. Those who got married in the past didn't have feelings for each other either. Later on, they were still inseparable. Jiang Zhao went to wash up. They couldn't wear the blood-stained clothes anymore. They waited for Lu Cheng to deliver the clothes for them to change into before going to work. After Ye woke up, she changed into a new set of clothes and looked in the mirror. It was a long-sleeved t-shirt and jeans. It looked good, but what about her neck? She put down her ponytail and tidied it to cover the two hickeys. Jiang Zhao said that her phone had run out of battery because of Zhuahao yesterday, so she borrowed it for a while. In the afternoon, she asked someone to return it to her. Ye didn't pursue the matter. When she opened the door, she saw that the boy's hand was being held by his girlfriend. Ye didn't know if it was an illusion, but the two of them looked like they were a perfect couple. They looked like they were together, but they were apart at heart. The boy smiled at her. It was faint, just like before. She thought that he was an indifferent person. He was usually clean and never worried about anything. He didn't show any emotion even when he was mocking her. She used to wonder what kind of family could raise such a boy. She never thought that someone like grandfather she would raise such a grandson. When those old men talked, it was like they were talking about gunpowder and nuclear bombs. "Unwu, why are you guys here?" Ye only knew that a large part of her memory was blank. What a coincidence. Yesterday, you fell asleep very deeply. We were the ones who sent you here. Later, Brother Zhao came over. We originally wanted to go back, but we were too tired, so we booked another room. And you smiled faintly. His hand that An was holding tightly tightened, and An didn't even frown. She let Unwu squeeze her hand. Last night, when they left this room, Unwu lost his temper. To avoid making too much noise on the same floor, An specially booked another room. Unwu almost flipped the room upside down, and An didn't know how to persuade others. She just let Unwu lose his temper. And An only thought that if it weren't for the cars of soldiers that came last night, Yin Yi would have been young master's woman. Luckily, he stuck some of the concentrated peppermint liquid into Yun Ye's nose. Otherwise, if Jiang Zhao couldn't wake Yin Yi up, who knew how big of a fuss this would have been? So that's how it is? Ye felt that she was too stupid. She actually thought that Jiang Zhao brought her out to play. That man didn't know anything about flirting. He only knew how to be coquettish. How could he know anything about flirting? That's right. Unwu said again, "Ye, are you hungry? Let's go have breakfast together." Unwoo asked Yi to sit down while he went to get the food for her. The breakfast in the five-star hotel was buffet, and then casually took some sandwiches and milk and sat down to eat quietly. She still looked a little shy and didn't talk much. Yi didn't seem to be able to find common topics with Anan, so she pretended to be curious and looked around. Seeing Unwoo holding a tray and waiting in line in front of the Chinese dishes, he wasn't anxious at all. He didn't have the airs of a rich young master. When someone accidentally bumped into him, he just smiled and told them, "It's okay." It attracted a lot of infatuated girls. When Jiang Zhao brought the tray to Yi's side, Yi realized how attentive this boy was. Single-sided egg, 2 drops of soy sauce on the raw egg yolk, straw, orange juice, whole wheat bread. Yi's breakfast was like this most of the time. He placed Yi's portion in front of her. "That's right? I remember you telling me that it's simple and nutritious." Yi took the straw and stirred the egg yolk, mixing the soy sauce and raw egg yolk together. She wrinkled her nose and said, "What's wrong with your brain? You can't remember my name, but you remember these things." "I didn't say that I didn't remember. You're blocking my way with your words. You're saying that I remember? Even if I don't remember anyone, it's impossible for me to not remember you. After all, customers like you who don't know how to appreciate food are rare." "Huh?" Yi sucked the egg yolk clean and then used her chopsticks to split the egg white into 2 pieces. She stacked them and put them in her mouth piece by piece. She closed her mouth and chewed contentedly. Unwoo looked at the way she ate and said, "I remember you saying that you don't change much at breakfast. I thought you were just lazy, but it turns out that you can eat so contentedly." Yi took a sip of the orange juice and gently wiped the corners of her mouth with a napkin. She nodded and said, "Yes, I'm like this with everything. Once I've chosen the right food, it's hard to dislike it. Unless it's like a chicken who has bird flu, a pig who has disease number 5, or a cow who has mad cow disease, I usually won't change the food I'm used to. Especially for things like breakfast, it's very difficult to choose something simple and nutritious." Yin's face stiffened. She was like this with everything. She was like this with food, and she was like this with people. She had chosen Jiang Zhao, but was being forced to choose him also a choice? Unwoo was not in the mood to eat. His gaze was fixed on Yi's every move. He cut up the bacon and sandwiches on the plate messily and asked, "Yi, are you happy after you got married?" Yi almost choked. She found it a little funny. After she got married, no one had asked her if she was happy. Zheng Ling didn't ask, Xia Qian didn't ask, and the insensitive Qiu Xiaoyan never asked either. But Unwoo actually asked her if she was happy. She nodded. Her eyes shone brightly. "Jiang Zhao is a good man. I'm very happy." Unwoo lowered his head and held his knife and fork tightly. He simply cut up the food on the plate and completely lost his appetizing look. "Aren't you hungry?" Yi was puzzled. Unwoo said unhappily, "I'm full." After breakfast, Yi suggested going to Yunwa's place to get the painting back. Unwoo agreed. When they arrived at the Shi family's villa, Yi sat downstairs and waited for Unwoo. She only stood up when she saw Unwoo come down with a rectangular board and a cloth bag. It was probably a framed painting. When Unwoo passed it to her, he said disdainfully, "It really takes up a lot of space. I've been wanting you to take it back for a long time." "I'm sorry, the money," Unwoo snorted. "How dare you talk about money?" Yi shut her mouth. He was a rich young master. He didn't lack money. Sigh, was she being too calculative? She wanted to take a look at the painting, so she took it from Yunwa's hands. When she bent down to open the cloth bag, her hair flew over her face. She reached out to brush it back in disgust. The 2 purple hickeys on her neck were exposed. Unwoo looked at Yi's neck. Images of clothes fluttering in the air and naked bodies of men and women entangled with each other flashed before his eyes. Those images were really torturous. She said Jiang Zhao was a good man. She said she was happy. How could she be so happy? She was happy alone. Yunwa's clear eyes suddenly darkened. His hand reached out to Yi's neck, but then stopped him in midair. "Unwoo, you're afraid that sister-in-law can't handle the animation. La Gue help. You didn't rest well last night, so don't do it." Unwoo turned around, his back facing Yi. He looked at Anne's expression, which was changing unpredictably. Yer glanced at the painting in the cloth bag. When she heard Anne's words, she looked up at the two of them and smiled. It's so light. I don't need anyone to help me. I'll go back first. Munwoo knew that he couldn't make Yer stay. He had to arrange for a car to send Yer back. Yer didn't want to. It wasn't because she felt inferior living in that kind of place. If she hadn't been with Jiang Zhao, it would have been fine. But now that she was with him, if she was still living in such an old neighborhood, wouldn't her relatives and friends say that Jiang Zhao was like that? Men were always prideful. This was what her mother-in-law had said. Her place was too shabby. If others were to talk about it, Jiang Zhao would be the one to lose face. Yer took the painting back to her place. Jiang Zhao had said in the morning that he would send someone to tidy up the new house and pick up her father in the afternoon. She actually couldn't get excited. Logically speaking, at a time like this, she should be so excited that she would cry. But she didn't. She couldn't figure out why she couldn't cry. She still couldn't believe that Jiang Zhao could get her father out so quickly. But she accepted it with a clear conscience. It was as if he was supposed to do it for her. On a day like this, where she shouldn't have known what to do, Yer was actually in the mood to tidy up the house, clean up, and pack some clothes. They were moving to a new house. Jiang Zhao was the one who took care of the things over there. She didn't care. She only needed to bring some clothes and daily necessities over. That's right. They were moving to a new house. It was a happy day. When Dad was released, he would have a new house to live in. It was great that the family would be together. There was nothing to cry about. What if Dad asked where Mom had gone? What would she say? That she had run away? Welfare, Shinwoo 799. Chapter 504. No, Daddy wouldn't ask. Daddy had only asked once, and she had answered perfunctorily. Daddy was smarter than anyone else. He could feel it. Jiang Zhao called a moving company and arranged for someone to help Yer move. He was too busy and could not find the time, not to mention that he had to bring Yer with him after work. Although Jiang Zhao had indeed hired some people to clean up the house, Yer felt that there were some things that he had to put away himself. Otherwise, he would not be able to find them wherever he put them. Fortunately, there were not many messy things, and it was a well-renovated room. With the help of a few part-time workers, they finished packing up in an hour. 10 NJT. When Yer arrived at the changing room, he realized that Jiang Zhao's clothes had already filled up his wardrobe. He moved quickly. With so many here, there shouldn't be much left at Ouyang Yan's place, right? Men rarely had as many clothes as him. He actually liked to dress up, right? Although the style of a man's clothes was like that, he had a complete range of colors. Although there were no overly bright colors, as long as he wore them a little brighter, they would be very attractive. The bed was already made and the bedroom door was closed. When Yer was looking at the painting, he encountered a problem. What should he do with this nude painting? He couldn't hang it up like a wedding photo, but if he put it away, where would he put it without being discovered by others? He placed the painting on the bed and looked at it carefully. After being framed, it looked high-end. He hoped that this figure would never go out of shape. Yer was a little tired. Who asked that man to be so aroused last night and insisted on going all out? She was exhausted. He laid on the bed and wanted to sleep. He turned his head and thought that it was still early. He decided to sleep for half an hour. Jiang Zhao had asked Lu Cheng before, and Yer had already moved to the 9th mansion. He had to pick up his father-in-law at 5 o'clock, so he had to go back and pick up Yer. When he opened the door and lowered his head to change his shoes, he called out happily twice. No one answered him, so he went to look for her room one by one. He guessed that she was packing her things. The room was very clean. He could live in it today. It was pretty good. With a more comfortable house to live in, she would definitely be happier. When he reached their bedroom upstairs, he realized that she was already asleep. She was probably exhausted. He wanted to go over and cover her with something. As soon as he lay down, he saw the nude painting on the bed. It was 23 meters long and 70 to 80 centimeters wide. This size would definitely be very beautiful. Looking at the woman in the painting, her naked body was only covered by a thin layer of gauze. Her elbows were bent, covering her breasts but revealing a little curve. Her graceful figure was bent in an extremely seductive arc. The expression on her face was clear. It was the innocence of a young girl. Her legs were playfully hooked as she shook her feet. Her eyelashes seemed to be dyed with rainbow-colored sunlight. Her whole person seemed to be alive. What a detailed painting. In his impression, such an oil painting shouldn't be so thin. It looked like an art portrait. He looked at it for a while before frowning. He reached out and patted Yier's butt. "Get up." "What?" Yier turned over, still wanting to sleep. "Get up." Jiang Zhao's voice was a little louder. "Tell me, what are you doing? When did you draw it?" Yier sat up and looked at Jiang Zhao, who was looking at the painting. He scratched his head and yawned. "In the summer." "In the summer?" "Yeah." Jiang Zhao felt gloomy. In short, he didn't feel too good. In the summer, it was before the wedding. It might have been before they met the beautiful woman again. His heart ached, but he still asked, "Why did you draw this kind of painting?" Yier said, "What's wrong with this kind of painting? Isn't art good? I want to keep it for myself when I'm young. When I'm older and my figure isn't as good, it won't look good anymore." "What's in your head?" Jiang Zhao looked at the painting. It was beautiful, but it made him angry. "Who drew this for you? Was it a man or a woman?" It was fine if it was a woman, but if it was a man, how could she be so naked? The more he thought about it, the more he frowned. But there were many women who knew how to draw now, and many of them were good at it. It wasn't like in the past, when it was mostly men who were good at art. Jiang Zhao comforted himself in this way. Yier said casually, "Unwu." Feeling that the atmosphere was a little too quiet, Yier looked up at Jiang Zhao seriously. She realized that his eyes were no longer normal. There were many emotions rolling around in his eyes. Yier didn't have the ability to read minds, so she suddenly realized that she couldn't understand. But she knew that Jiang Zhao was angry. "Unwu." Unwu. Jiang Zhao had been sitting on the bed. He stretched his long legs and got off the bed. He held the framed nude painting of Yier in his hands, lifted it up, and shook it a few times in front of Yier. Yier was afraid that the edges of the drawing board would hurt herself, so she retreated in fear. "Yeah, that's him." Everything around them was so quiet that it was scary. Yier could only hear her own heartbeat and Jiang Zhao's heavy breathing. After a while, she heard him snort coldly. "You've already known each other to this extent, yet they were pretending not to know each other? Did they think that Jiang Zhao, was an idiot? We've known each other for more than a year. He's drawn for me a few times, but I've always paid him for it. This drawing was done 2 months ago, but when I went to the Shi family to get it today, he wouldn't take the money." Yier had been searching for something else to say. She knew that Jiang Zhao was shaking with anger. She didn't think that there was anything wrong with the drawing, but why was Jiang Zhao so angry? Was it just because he knew Unwu? Was it embarrassing that his wife was drawn by his friend? But when she was drawing, she didn't know about this layer of relationship. If she had known, she definitely wouldn't have gone to Unwu. Jiang Zhao closed his eyes and raised his head to let out a long breath. When he looked at Yier again, he raised the drawing in his hand and slammed it against the wall. Yier cried out in pain, "My drawing!" Suddenly, she jumped off the bed to pick up her drawing. Before she could touch the drawing, she was pulled back onto the bed by Jiang Zhao. Yier wanted to get up again, but Jiang Zhao had already pounced on her. He pinned her down, grabbed her hands, and clamped her legs with his legs, not allowing her to move an inch. Yier cried out in pain, "Be gentle, it hurts." "He drew it for you, and you're so upset?" 2 months ago, Jiang Zhao ignored the woman's cries of pain. His free hand pinched her chin and forced her to look at him. "Yinyi, do you think I'm a monkey? You were already with me 2 months ago. Wasn't that right? You were already in my bed. You were with me. But you stripped naked in front of another man and let him draw you. He saw you naked, and when he saw you again, he pretended not to remember your name. What's the relationship between the two of you? Tell me clearly." Jiang Zhao felt that the past 2 days had been too much of a shock. Yesterday, he finally felt that the danger had been averted, and today, he was being put on a show again. Her new drawing had been with Shi Unwu for 2 months, and Shi Unwu still had to pretend not to remember her name. If it weren't for Zhuang Yichen's investigation, he would have really thought that Shi Unwu was such a heartless person. How much did a woman trust a man that she would strip naked in front of him? "Jiang Zhao, you're crazy. I have nothing to do with him. He's been drawing on Wutong Street for more than a year, and I'm his customer. I bought his paintings, and he sketched, painted, and even this oil painting for me. We talk occasionally, and that's our relationship. Yi Er's entire body was in pain from Jiang Zhao's pinch, but she still tried her best to explain. She never thought that Jiang Zhao's attitude would change like this after seeing this painting. His eyes were bleeding. If she had to blame someone, she could only blame herself for being unlucky. Unwu and Jiang Zhao's relationship was actually so close. Jiang Zhao, calm down. Unwu and I aren't what you think. He only drew for me. There's nothing between us. Don't misunderstand. Yi Er couldn't cry at this time. She was only afraid. She was afraid of Jiang Zhao like this. She was so afraid that she trembled. Jiang Zhao felt like he was going crazy from jealousy and jealousy. Shi Yunwu was an artist on Wudong Street. He really had the time. They were obviously very close, but he was pretending not to be close. What was he supposed to think? Jiang Zhao suppressed his voice with the last bit of his endurance. Why did you let him draw you? Yi Er didn't have the space to think of a countermeasure. She could only say what was on her mind. I think he looked very clean and didn't have any bad intentions. I've never seen anyone like him. His eyes didn't seem to have any impurities. I've known him for more than a year. Although I didn't know his name and mistook him for a poor artist, I trusted him a lot and felt very safe. So, you went to Hyatt and got a room. In that room, you slowly took off your clothes and slowly set up the easel. You let him tell you how you should pose to be considered beautiful. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? Jiang Zhao was almost shouting towards the end. He couldn't calm down. He couldn't use a calm tone to talk to her. There was no way he could communicate with her. The background of the painting was the decoration of the Hyatt they stayed in yesterday. Every hotel had its own style. The bench she was lying on was the decoration style of the Hyatt. It was such a fine painting, but he had been paying attention to the person in the painting. Now that he thought about it, what if he hadn't found her last night? Hyatt was their old haunt. It was no wonder Shi Unwu wanted to go there. When she was with him, she went to get a room with another man and drew nude pictures. She trusted a man to such an extent. How could he maintain his balance and calm? Yi Er stared blankly at Jiang Zhao, who had lost control of his emotions. She didn't know what to say. What was the situation like at that time? Unwu had indeed told her what to do. Seeing that Yi Er was silent, Jiang Zhao let go of her chin. He clenched his fist and punched the springy bed. Yin Er, I want to F***ing kill you. I want to kill you right now. Do you know that? Jiang Zhao lowered his head and viciously bit Yi Er's shoulder. His wife had told him how much she trusted another man in front of him. But that man was a wolf in sheep's clothing. Yi Er was in so much pain that she almost couldn't breathe. Strands of pain pierced her brain and broke. It was useless for her to struggle or resist. She knew that the man on top of her could really kill her. She felt her shoulder become wet. There was a sticky liquid flowing down from her shoulder to her back. Her nose was filled with the smell of blood. Jiang Zhao's mouth was filled with the sweet taste of rust. He still couldn't vent his anger. He wanted to bite her to death. Then, it would be good if she died. That way, she wouldn't talk about how good another man was in front of him. Come and see. Xinwu 799. Chapter 505. Yi Er was in so much pain that she couldn't take it anymore. She felt that if the man continued to bite her like this, she wouldn't be able to keep the flesh on her shoulder. She tried to bend her knees to push him away, but she couldn't. Jiang Zhao, you lunatic. Be **starred. BT. Let go. Yi Er was gasping for air as she finished scolding him. It was too painful, as if a knife was cutting her. Jiang Zhao listened to Yi Er scolding him. After scolding him, she changed her words. The more he bit, the more his teeth ached. His entire face hurt. When she was with him, she would either coax or lie, or put on an act. But behind Shi Yunwu's back, she would say in front of him, "Did you realize that Unwu is as beautiful as Fei Yin? They both have soft and tender skin." She said that she had never seen someone like Shi Yunwu. He was so clean that he didn't have any impurities. She said that she trusted that man, but she had never trusted him. Never. If I'm a lunatic, it'd be asterisk-starred. Then what about Xiunwu? What is he? Yi Er thought of Jiang Zhao's crazy reply and also spoke without thinking. He's 10,000 times better than you. He's pure, kind, he's not scheming, he's polite, he's a gentleman. Jiang Zhao was stunned for a long time. He let out a long sigh and rolled off Yi Er's body. He wiped the blood around his mouth and didn't say anything. He didn't even look at Yi Er's injuries. He got off the bed, went to the bathroom with a dull expression, and closed the door. Yi Er heard the sound of the shower turning on in the bathroom. She regretted what she had said, but words were like water that had been spilled. They couldn't be taken back. Jiang Zhao didn't even take off his clothes. He just stood under the shower and raised his head. The water from the top of his head continuously splashed onto his face. He reached out to wipe the water off his face, but it was useless. The water came back wave after wave. The fabric on his body was all stuck to his skin, revealing a bit of the color of his skin. His shoulders drooped, and he looked very weak. The gap between them was indeed too big. He was almost 30 years old, and she was only 19. Their views were too different. He couldn't keep up with her new ideas, and he couldn't understand her art. He felt that he had had enough. If he continued like this, he would be overdrawn. This woman was heartless. No matter how good he was to her, she would not feel that he was good. He had offended so many people. Did she think that it would be easy for someone like Yun Hongwei to be released on medical parole? Even someone from the provincial party committee came out to interfere. Originally, he didn't want to use the Qin family's connections, but he still did. For her, he dragged his family down. In her eyes, he was a bastard. He couldn't be compared to a wolf in sheep's clothing who had drawn nude pictures of her. The bathroom door opened, and he heard the sound. He turned around and saw a patch of red on his woman's shoulder. He frowned and told himself to remain indifferent, just like how she treated him. Otherwise, you would give her your heart and help her think of everything. You would do things for her wholeheartedly and want her to live a happier life, but she would hand you a knife and stab you in the heart. Yi Er walked over and looked at Jiang Zhao. She felt terrible. She suddenly understood. She was his wife, and his brother had drawn nude pictures of his wife. If it were any other man, he wouldn't be able to stand it. Ah Zhao. Yi Er stood outside the open glass door of the shower and called out softly. Jiang Zhao stretched out his hand. Come here. Yi Er stood in the shower, but the moment she stepped in, she stepped back out. It was cold water. It was already the end of autumn, and she couldn't stand such cold water. Jiang Zhao was actually taking a cold shower. Ah Zhao, I'll run some hot water for you. Come here, Jiang Zhao said coldly to Yi Er with a dark face. Yi Er gritted her teeth and stepped into the shower again. Jiang Zhao pushed up her t-shirt. Yi Er was shivering from the cold, but she didn't know what he was going to do. After pushing up her t-shirt, he took it off for her. The cold water splashed against the bloody teeth marks on Yi Er's shoulder. The blood was quickly washed away. Jiang Zhao didn't look there and undid Yi Er's underwear. Then he undid the buttons on her jeans. Yi Er grabbed Jiang Zhao's hand. Ah Zhao, let's change the shower to hot water. It's too cold. It's not cold. He felt that the water was already hot enough. His heart was already cold. How could this little bit of water be cold? I just want to see what I'll do if you strip naked in front of me. Yinyi, I want to see how long you're going to put on this show. Yi Er widened her eyes. You still don't believe me? Jiang Zhao, you still don't believe me. I already said that it has nothing to do with him. Don't talk to me about believing. I want to see if that Shi Unwu is a eunuch. I want to see if he can draw for hours without blushing when he sees your body. Jiang Zhao really didn't believe him. He didn't know how to build this trust, just like how Yi Er didn't believe him. He knew that Shi Yun's tolerance was extraordinary, but Yi Er's body was right there. He didn't believe that a man wouldn't have any reaction at all. Just like now, he saw her shivering from the cold. Streams of water flowed down her firm and round breasts. Her breasts were pink and tender. Her slim waist, sexy and slender legs were white and slender. With such a body, which normal man would be able to look at it properly for a few hours, could Shi Yunwu do it? No matter how good Shi Yun's tolerance was, it was impossible for him to forget after seeing it. His wife's nude painting had been placed in front of Shi Yunwu for 2 months for him to admire and fantasize about. He wasn't that generous. Yi didn't have the energy to defend herself. Jiang Zhao was humiliating her. He was completely humiliating her. He stripped her naked and placed her there like a display for him to look at, and then waited for his reaction. She watched as his breathing quickened. She watched as he started to take off his shirt, unbuckle his belt, and take off his pants. He was telling her that a normal man would react like this when seeing a woman's naked body. Any man would have the same impulse as him. He was telling her with his reaction that he didn't believe that she and Unwu were innocent. Yi angrily hooked her arms around his neck and then jumped on top of him. She wrapped her legs around his waist and let the cold water wash over her head. "You want me, don't you? Come on." The bone-chilling water, the bone-chilling ceramic wall, and the woman being pressed down on top of it to satisfy the man's vengeful carnal desire. After coming out of the bathroom, Jiang Zhao put on a sleeping robe, picked up the painting on the ground, and walked to the kitchen. Yi could only hear the sounds coming from the kitchen. She didn't dare to go over. Jiang Zhao raised the painting and smashed it on the marble workbench. It broke in 2 hits. He then used a small knife to lift the painting off the floor and peel it off. He turned on the gas. With a whoosh, a circle of blue flames jumped up. He threw the painting that he had peeled off from the drawing board in his hand. There was actually a crackling sound. As he watched the colorful painting slowly turn charred, Jiang Zhao used the knife in his hand to move the edges that weren't burned by the fire closer to the center. This was a painting of another man, and it was a painting of another man after they were together. This man wasn't just anyone. He was the man that Grandpa and Grandpa called brothers every day. When he saw this painting, he felt the fire in his chest burn even brighter than the flames in front of him. What kind of bullsh asterisk tea art was this? Bullsh asterisk tea art. After burning the painting and leaving the ashes, Jiang Zhao returned to the bedroom. Yi sat there with a towel wrapped around her. She was in a daze. Jiang Zhao went to get the first aid kit and placed it on the bed. He sat on it, took out an alcohol swab, disinfectant, and sat behind Yi. Without saying a word, he helped her clean her wound. Yi was in so much pain that she was trembling. "Does it hurt?" Jiang Zhao asked. "Yes." "Ouch. It hurts." "Remember, if it hurts," Jiang Zhao said lightly. Yi clenched her fists. "I will remember. Don't worry. I won't lose to you." If God gave her another chance, she swore that she wouldn't fall in love with such a man. When he was nice to you, he praised you to the heavens. When he was angry, he used the most intimate way to humiliate you. Jiang Zhao said, "Yes, I won't either." When he got out of bed, Jiang Zhao added, "You'll still be like before. Treat me as someone you have to rely on and someone you have to do your best to please. If you don't suck up to me, your father won't have any hope. Use all your tricks. Don't carry these emotions with you. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble if you fall in love with me, because when that time came, it was very likely that he wouldn't treat her well anymore. She would be very upset." He realized that even so, he didn't want her to be upset when he didn't have her in his heart. "Jiang Zhao, wake up." That night, Jiang Zhao only sent someone to send Yi to pick up Yin Hongwei. He didn't go himself. He didn't need to go. He hated acting with her. That was her father. She should be filial to him. Who was he? He was her son-in-law in name. He had no place in her heart. He helped Yin Hongwei because of her. Otherwise, why would he help? After picking up Yin Hongwei, Yi hugged him tightly and told her father all the hopeful things. She was married and had a new home. She had a big house to live in. Jie was going to pick her up on Friday. In the future, they would live together as a family. She was very happy. Jiang Zhao specially arranged for a doctor to examine Yin Hongwei's body. He didn't hurt his internal organs or bones, so he was fine. Yi was relieved. He arranged for Yin Hongwei to stay downstairs, next to Jie's room. It was already 11 p.m., and Jiang Zhao still hadn't returned. Yin Hongwei asked, but Yi lied and said he was busy. Yin Hongwei didn't say anything else. He chatted with Yi until 1 o'clock before going to bed. Yi went back to her room and called Jiang Zhao. She wanted to ask when he would be back. The call went through, but it was Ouyang Yan's voice. "Hello, where's my husband?" "He's asleep. Put him on the phone." The next second, Yi Er heard Yin urging softly, "Phone, phone, it's Yi Er. Don't answer it." Jiang Zhao's voice came through. Yi Er sighed. "I'll go and pick him up. He doesn't want to see you," Yin said. Yi Er gritted her teeth and hung up. Yin also hung up. She sat on the floor and leisurely reached out to pluck a grape from the fruit bowl on the bedside table. Behind her, a drunk man was sleeping on the bed. She popped the grape into her mouth and chewed slowly. Thinking back to when she met Jiang Zhao at the restaurant today, she couldn't believe that he would be so drunk without a care for his image. Although it was a private room in the restaurant and no one could see them from the outside, what if someone saw them? It really took a lot of effort to get him back. Even the designated driver said he was too drunk. Yi Er. How many times did he say this woman's name? He said she had no conscience. He actually got drunk because of that woman. When did he become so useless? It was 2 o'clock in the morning. Yi Er couldn't sleep. Beauty novel. Hongcha 866. Chapter 506. She sat on the bed, thinking about what happened today over and over again. She thought about the conversation between them. She started to reflect on herself. She hated Jiang Zhao for biting her and not believing her. But when she said those hurtful words, she did not think about it from Jiang Zhao's perspective. Just like what Jiang Zhao said, she was not in the right mood because she cared about him. She was especially concerned about whether he cared about her or not. He bit her so painfully, but he did not feel sorry for her at all. When she saw him bleeding a little, her heart ached terribly. She felt it was unfair, and she got angry. She treated the thing that a man cared about the most as something unrelated. She only remembered that Jiang Zhao bit her and humiliated her. However, she had never thought deeply about why Jiang Zhao wanted to hurt her or humiliate her. He is a man, and he is used to being high and mighty. He has money, status, and is respected by others. Unwu is his brother, and he painted a nude picture of his wife. When they met, he pretended not to know about it. How will he feel when he faces Unwu now? If she happened to be present, what a terrible change in his attitude would have taken place. He will feel that everyone is looking at him as a joke. Moreover, he is not a businessman. He is a mayor. Her mother-in-law had said that she should not do anything immoral when she married Jiang Zhao. Wasn't this painting offensive to public morals? Regardless of whether the cause of this matter was wrong or not, from Jiang Zhao's point of view, he was not wrong. He was angry and did not pick her father up. He did not come back for dinner. He did not come back to sleep. She did not feel wronged, but he could not let her spend the night at Yan's place. Yi Er got out of bed and put on a t-shirt and jeans. Her shoulders were still hurting. She remembered telling him that she would not forget and would not lose. But she felt she had gone overboard. Her eyes were a little red, and her nose was sore. She put on a sweater for herself and told Yin Hongwei that she was going out for a while. Yin Hongwei also felt that there was some conflict between the couple and did not say anything. He only reminded her to be careful. Yi Er took the keys to the Jeep and went to the underground parking lot. He pressed the sensor and got into the car. The Wrangler gave the driver a strong sense of superiority. Yi Er sat very straight, as if the road was specially built for her. The car drove very fast. When Yi Er got out of the car, she straightened her back and took a deep breath to cheer herself up. Good luck. When she arrived at the place where she and Jiang Zhao used to live, she stood at the door with her hand raised in the air. She was about to knock on the door, but after thinking about it, she couldn't figure out why she had to knock. This house belonged to her husband. Why did she have to knock on the door? So she took out the key from her bag, turned the keyhole, and pushed the door open. Yin heard someone open the door and quickly put on his slippers. Before he reached the door, Yi Er had already opened the door and entered. Yi Er closed the door behind him. Without changing his shoes, he walked straight to the bedroom, ignoring the Yin. Yin went to grab Yi Er. What are you doing? This is my house. Who let you in? Yi Er flung his hand away. Oh, what a joke. This is my husband's house. Do I need to tell you what I'm doing here? I want to ask you something. Why are you stopping me when you live in our house? Yan's face turned red. Since Jiang Zhao was still sleeping in the bedroom, he was afraid that he would hear the commotion outside. He did not dare to argue with Yi. He's already asleep. Don't disturb him. Yi snorted, glanced at Ouyang Yin, and walked straight to the bedroom. Ouyang Yin chased after him, grabbed the doorknob, and refused to let Yi open the door. Jiang Zhao heard the commotion outside the door. Although his head was very dizzy, he still sat up and looked at the layout of the house. Why did he come here? Was he stupid? Did he come here on his own because he was drunk? Since when did he become like this? Just as she was frowning, she heard Yi-er's arrogant voice. Ouyang Yin, don't put on such a gentle and magnanimous front. The person sleeping inside is my husband, and this house belongs to my husband. What right do you have to stop me from entering? Because you're a guest? To put it nicely, I'm treating you as a guest. To put it bluntly, I'm treating you as a guest. If you ask me, with your family Ouyang's wealth, you won't be unable to afford a house for your daughter. Even if you can't afford a house, you should be able to rent one, right? I think your pajamas cost a few thousand. The bag hanging at the door is worth 40,000 to 50,000 yuan. It's enough to rent a high-end apartment and renovate it for a year. How can you be so thick-skinned? My husband didn't ask you to move because of your past relationship. Don't tell me you think a man's pride is because he wants to divorce me and marry you. Jiang Zhao sat on the bed and almost laughed. How could he be so fierce? Dong Xuebing looked at the clock on the bedside. Why did he come so late at night? Jiang Zhao slowly left. He lay down and continued to sleep. But he couldn't sleep now. His wife came to look for him. He couldn't sleep and was very excited. He felt his life was cheap. In the afternoon, he said he was going to ignore her. But now he was so happy. Dong Xuebing pulled the blanket over his head and laughed secretly. He realized he was too easy to be satisfied. Last time, he said she should come like a shrew and catch him. At least she cared about him. Even if they quarreled today, he still hoped she would care about him. Yin Yi, if you didn't force second brother to marry you, he wouldn't be in such a miserable state now. He has enemies everywhere. He was supposed to be the mayor of Ming City, and now he delayed it. People say that marrying a virtuous wife is to bring fortune to the husband. You didn't bring fortune to him, and you keep causing trouble for him. Why do you have to shout in front of me? Don't you feel guilty? Jiang Zhao listened to Ouyang Yin scolding Yi and sat up again. He realized Yi didn't say anything for a long time. He lifted the blanket and was about to go out to take a look when Yi spoke again. She laughed scornfully. What's wrong? Are you jealous? Are you jealous that he didn't blame me, even when he was in such a state? Are you jealous to death? You can't help it. This is my husband. Why are you looking at other people's husbands so well? Don't be jealous. If you want to be a strong woman, go ahead. Don't drool at other people's husbands all day long. It will affect your image. Outside the door, Yi pushed Ouyang Yin and turned the handle of the door. She entered the room and saw Jiang Zhao sleeping under the blanket. She was furious. Was Ouyang Yin sleeping on the bed now? Did the two of them sleep together just now? Yi walked over angrily and yanked the blanket away forcefully. When she threw the blanket on the floor, she realized that Jiang Zhao hadn't even taken off his pants. Yi froze. When she saw Jiang Zhao glaring at her with a dark expression, she immediately smiled obsequiously. She jumped onto the bed and burrowed into Jiang Zhao's arms. She hugged his neck and started kissing him, completely ignoring the audience standing at the door. She said coyly, "Hubby, why aren't you going home? Did you drink? If you don't go home, I won't be able to sleep. Let's go home." Tai Jiang curved mouth. Jiang Zhao's expression darkened because he didn't manage to continue acting. Yin Yi didn't play by the rules at all. He thought that she would at least misunderstand, but in the end, she directly lifted the blanket for him. How was he supposed to hide his face? "I'm not going home." Jiang Zhao turned his back to Yi and continued to pretend to sleep. Yi flipped over Jiang Zhao's body and faced him face to face. Okay. I won't go back. I'll sleep here tonight, okay?" Jiang Zhao snorted. "No. Stingy, so stingy. A man can't be so stingy. Go and find a generous woman." Yi patted her chest righteously. She frowned and said sternly, "How can I do that? I'm a married woman." "Ouyang, Yin was standing at the door with her internal organs bleeding. These two were actually acting like enemies in front of her. Jiang Zhao was happy, but he didn't show it. He didn't look at Yi. Yi sat up and pulled the blanket over herself and Jiang Zhao. Hubby, if you want to sleep here, then we'll sleep here. Anyway, I'll sleep wherever you sleep. Don't even think about getting rid of me. Hubby, I'm going to take off my clothes. I'm really going to take them off. I'm going to sleep. I'm so sleepy. Yi kept nagging until Jiang Zhao was so annoyed that he got out of bed. Yi followed beside Jiang Zhao. She opened the door for him and helped him get his shoes. When they reached the door, she said, Hubby, you're drunk. Let me carry you. Jiang Zhao really felt that he couldn't be blamed for this. He could only blame his wife for being too skillful. He could now see that the purpose of her visit tonight was to tease him until he lost his self-control. It's okay. You don't have to feel sorry for me. I'm very strong and have good stamina. I often carry my brother. He's quite tall. He can carry you on his back. Ouyang Yin despised the heir's pug face 10,000 times. She had never seen such a cheap woman. She actually used such a method to please a man. Heir, why don't you stay here tonight? Why don't you sleep here? When Yi heard Ouyang Yan's words, she immediately pulled Jiang Zhao's arms over her shoulders and dragged him away. Jiang Zhao's eyeballs were about to fall out. Was this called being unlucky? She put his arms over her shoulders. His upper body was in the right position, but what about his lower body? Shouldn't his lower body be in the right position? She should hook her arms around his legs and lift his legs off the ground. His legs were still stumbling as he ran with her. She was running so fast. He was lying on her shoulders, but he was still afraid of stepping on her. He was so much taller than her, so he lost his balance and became a burden. After entering the elevator, Yi quickly pressed the button to close the elevator doors. She immediately changed her attitude. Jiang Zhao, how dare you have an extramarital affair behind your wife's back? You didn't even come home last night. You even spent the night at your mistress's house. Let me tell you, I'm injured today. If not, I will definitely make you kneel on a washboard. Jiang Zhao leaned against the wall of the elevator and rolled his eyes at Yi. There's only a washing machine at home. There's no washboard. Yi nodded. Oh yes, but there's a CPU at home. I heard that it feels good to kneel on it. Then you will be the one kneeling. Why? Because you did something immoral. Jiang Zhao said coldly. Yi was no longer angry. She held Jiang Zhao's arm. Hubby, I was wrong. There won't be a next time. I promise. Jiang Zhao remembered the last time he caught her at the nightclub. She was also like this. Why did he have no resistance to her? Really, he had no resistance at all. She had done and said so many things that made him vomit blood. As long as she tried to please him, he would not be able to reject her. Did you just say that you're going to piggyback me? Please. She had said it for the mistress to hear. She wanted to see if Ouyang Yin dared to discuss Jiang Zhao like she did. Did he take it seriously? Attention Hongcha 866. Chapter 507. Are you trying to trick me? Jiang Zhao appeared very unhappy, but he was calculating in his heart. When she said, just now, he knew that she was joking, but he insisted that she carry him. Yi thought to herself that although she was not short, he was too tall for her to carry him, right? How could he take her seriously? Couldn't he think for a lady and pretend to reject her? For example, she suggested that he carry her. He would immediately say that he was too embarrassed. She could immediately say that it was fine. This fellow was too thick-skinned. Did he really want her to carry him? Yi still did not quite believe him. Hubby, let me support you. I drank too much. I can't walk. When the elevator reached the underground car park, Jiang Zhao shamelessly leaned against the elevator wall and refused to get out. Yi cursed in her heart. You're ruthless. You have a mistress. You're so great. If it wasn't for the old fox living upstairs, she would not have bothered with him. Who knows, the old fox might come down to pick him up the moment she left. Yi gathered her strength and stood with her back facing Jiang Zhao. She got into a horse stance and reached out to pat her shoulder. Come on, Jiang Zhao was just about to pounce on Yi Er's back when Yi Er realized something was wrong. She turned her body and stood up again. This time, Jiang Zhao almost fell to the ground. After he steadied himself, he glared at Yi Er. Yi Er's eyes wrinkled into triangles as she rubbed her stomach pitifully. "Hubby, I'm so hungry. Why don't we go eat something to replenish our strength? When I have strength, I'll carry you on my back, okay?" "No, you just said that you were strong." Yi Er still looked very pitiful. She didn't care whether Jiang Zhao's face was cold or not. She burrowed into his arms and said, But how am I strong? I've been tortured by you every time. I'm very weak. Don't you know?" Jiang Zhao couldn't resist Yi Er's coquettish behavior. He always felt that such a tall girl didn't like to act coquettishly. When she acted coquettishly, it was also funny, but she just could make it look cute like a little bird. At this time, the underground car park was very quiet. The elevator was not in use and did not open for a long time. The number 1 stood there quietly. Jiang Zhao forced Yi Er to the left corner. "I can't take a picture to film it." "You can't?" Yi Er asked. "Yes, I want to see how weak you are." "Hey, don't. Yi Er retorted. Her expression changed. She actually came here to talk to a drunk man about ambiguous topics. Had she never heard of drunkenness before? "Hubby, I'll carry you out right now. Come on, I'm strong." The man's hand had already unbuttoned the woman's jeans, but he did not take them off. He only put his hand in. Yi Er suddenly trembled. Jiang Zhao saw her reaction and immediately pressed her head into his arms. "Be good. Don't raise your head. Jiang Zhao, don't be so naughty." Yi Er panted and grabbed his shirt. She did not dare to move. Her whole body was on fire. She wanted to twist and turn. It was too uncomfortable. "Ha! If you continue to pinch and twist like this, my fingers will be broken by you." The man lowered his head and sucked the woman's ear. "Don't say that. Are you shy?" When the man spoke, his hands did not stop moving. In an instant, the woman softened in his arms. He teased, as expected, so weak. "So weak. Hubby, are you not going to carry me?" "No, I have to carry you." Yi Er felt that she had met a rare specimen. She asked in disbelief, "You still want to carry me?" It was only when they got back to the car that Yi Er understood what Jiang Zhao meant by carry. He adjusted the seat and flipped her over. Then he pressed his entire body on top of her and said, "Considering that you are very weak, I reduced the difficulty of carrying you. Does hubby love you very much?" Yi Er wanted to curse. He knew that she did not like being the back seat. If he pushed it too hard, it would hurt her to death. However, Jiang Zhao said, "Don't worry, I won't push it too hard." After the car ride, Yi Er was sure that Jiang Zhao was a man of his words. Indeed, it was not as deep as the first time he was the back seat. It was not deep. It was very suitable, very good. Back at number 9 mansion, Jiang Zhao tidied his shirt and took off the front mirror. He looked at himself and tidied his hair before getting out of the car with Yi Er. When they reached home, Yin Hongwei was still awake. He was sitting on a chair in the dining room. When he heard the sound of the door opening, he walked to the living room. He saw Yi Er leading Jiang Zhao home. He did not seem to be uneasy because he had just been released from prison. He walked to the entrance graciously. Jiang Zhao saw Yin Hongwei walking over and greeted him politely before changing his shoes. "Dad." Yi Er's heart softened. Yin Hongwei was still acting graciously earlier. But when he heard Jiang Zhao calling him dad, he felt uneasy. Jiang Zhao noticed that Yin Hongwei was not used to it, so he asked naturally, "Dad, it's so late. Why are you still awake? I was waiting for you all. I was a little worried." Yin Hongwei was an honest person, and he does not know how to flatter Jiang Zhao. Just because Jiang Zhao was the mayor, he did not try to curry favor with him. He felt that if Fengyu was not his son-in-law, he might try to curry favor with him in the past. It was not because he thought highly of himself, but his daughter still needs status. As a father, he should not try to curry favor with his son-in-law. They were a family, and they should respect each other. Furthermore, Jiang Zhao had addressed him as dad the moment he entered the house. He felt that Jiang Zhao would not look at him differently. "Dad, I'm sorry. It's a little late today. I had to ask you to pick me up before I came back. I made you worried. You're not in good health, so you should rest early." Jiang Zhao changed his shoes and looked at Yun Hongwei apologetically. Yun Hongwei looked at the wall clock. It's fine. It's fine. You should take care of your health. You all should rest early. After saying that, Yun Hongwei returned to his room. Jiang Zhao and Yi Er went upstairs and closed the door. Jiang Zhao was not sleepy. He had a lot of things on his mind today, and Yi Er was not sleepy either. Both of them sat cross-legged on the bed. Yi Er raised his hand. Zhao, I will reflect on what happened today. Jiang Zhao was stunned for a moment, but he put 2 fingers on her lips to stop her from talking. He pulled her shoulders and looked at the bite marks. He blew on it gently. When he sat up straight, he looked at Yi Er and said seriously, "First, don't mention what happened today again. I had burned the painting. You're not allowed to have such thoughts in the future. Second, you should stay away from Shi Yunwu. I don't allow you to be alone with him. Third, if Shi Yunwu's girlfriend asks you out alone, you are not allowed to go either." Jiang Zhao's words were overbearing and domineering. Not allowed, not allowed, not allowed. Yi Er kept nodding. Okay, I won't be alone with him, and I won't go shopping with his girlfriend. Are you relieved now? I'm not worried about you, but I'm worried about him. Huh? Then what should I do? Yi Er felt that Jiang Zhao was worrying too much, but she had to go along with him on the surface. Jiang Zhao said, "What about you?" "Nothing. Just do what I said and don't allow me to do it." "About school, what major do you want to study?" Yi Er didn't know why Jiang Zhao was talking about studying again, but since he asked, she had already planned for her future. Sister Xiaoya said that she wanted me to be her assistant and study fashion design. After I graduate, she will introduce me to a job as a designer. Jiang Zhao snorted disdainfully. "Forget it. Who wants her to introduce you to a designer? If you really want to be a designer like her, go ahead and study. After you study, I can make you the second Xiaoya Qiu in Haiqing." Actually, he just felt that it was best for her not to get involved in anything that had to do with Zhuang Yichen. He was really afraid that it would ruin things between women. "Hubby, are you serious?" "Why should I be serious? It's just money and resources. It's not that difficult." Yi Er heard Jiang Zhao's tone and felt a little indignant for Xiaoya. She whispered, "Sister Xiaoya is so famous. She's really capable." Jiang Zhao smiled and reached out to flick her forehead. "That's not because Xiaoya is capable. It's because Zhuang Yichen is capable. It's too difficult to make a name for oneself in this society. There are countless designers who are smarter, more inspired, and more talented than Xiaoya. What does she have to be capable of? It's all because of Zhuang Yichen. It's just that no one outside knows that Xiaoya is Zhuang Yichen's woman. That's why she got such a big advantage. All the young ladies in Haicheng treat her like an inspirational novel. In fact, without Zhuang Yichen, Xiaoya is nothing." Yi Er suddenly changed her opinion of Zhuang Yichen. "I couldn't tell that Zhuang Yichen treats women so well." Jiang Zhao snorted unhappily. "Am I not good to you?" Yi Er realized a problem. In fact, she couldn't casually praise other men in front of her man. This was an unspoken rule, especially when her man was already good. The one she needed to praise was the man in front of her. "Of course. My husband treats me the best." Jiang Zhao raised his eyebrows. "It's good that you know. Then tell me, what major do you want to study? Just like what CGS said to you the other day, it's scary to be uneducated. Hurry up and study, so that you don't keep making me feel bad." Yi Er pouted and said, "Hubby, you don't like me." Jiang Zhao said bluntly, "Yes, I do." The woman's grievance disappeared immediately. She said unhappily, "Hubby, can't you be more tactful?" The man frowned. "How should I be tactful? Teach me. Should I say it like this? Wifey, you know so many things. It's not a problem to communicate with you. Wifey, you really know everything from astronomy to geography. No one can compare to a female Zhuge in this world. Wifey, you really... That's enough. Shut up. Oh, if you talk like this, should I say, Wifey, you're so gentle? Jiang Zhao, I hate you. I know. You know. Yes, because women like to hear nice things. If someone says something unpleasant, they won't like it. Moreover, you're an uneducated woman. But hubby, a woman's virtue is to be untalented. But wifey, transmigration is fake. You can only dream of returning to the Qing dynasty tonight. Yi Er raised her voice again. Jiang Zhao, can't you coax me? Oh, Gigai, Gigai. Jiang Zhao reached out and patted Yi Er's back. He imitated the way parents would tease a baby. Is this how I should coax you? Yi Er didn't dare to ask for a better way of coaxing. Jiang Zhao's limit was being obedient. Hubby, let's live happily in the future, okay? Don't go to Ouyang Yan's place. You're married to me. How can you be involved with other women? Okay. Yi Er was shocked that Jiang Zhao agreed so readily. Really? Come and see. Songshu 566. Chapter 508. When did I lie to you? Jiang Zhao felt really sleepy now. He needed a good night's sleep. He stretched his arms and neck before collapsing. Good night, Yunyi. Good night, Zhao. In the Shi family villa, the light in the art room on the second floor was still on. Shi Jintian had already woken up from his nap. The maid said that the young master was still awake. He was worried, so he went to knock on the door. No one answered, so he pushed the door open and entered. Unwu was still painting. Unwu, he called softly, afraid that he would scare his grandson. And you held a palette and slowly painted. Even when he knew that someone had entered his studio, he didn't have any reaction. He looked at the painting leisurely, and there was even a faint and confident smile on his face. Grandpa, I want to compete with Jiang Zhao. A fair competition. I won't drug Yi Er again. I want to get her through the right way. Don't interfere. Shi Jintian knew that Unwu didn't care about anything after the heart transplant. If he insisted on it, even 9 bulls wouldn't be able to pull him back. However, he still couldn't believe that a girl could charm Unwu to this extent. He had met Yi Er that day, and she didn't seem to be that close to Unwu. Unwu raised his head and sighed. Grandfather, rest early. Don't force me anymore. Unwu, there are many good girls in the world. Why are you so stubborn about a married woman? They are husband and wife. Why can't you find an innocent girl? Even though Shi Jintian couldn't reprimand Unwu, his tone was full of reproach. In his mind, even though Unwu had a heart transplant, it didn't affect anything. Unwu was outstanding and sensible. He should be worthy of the best girl in the world. Innocent? Unwu smiled and asked, Grandpa, our family is not innocent at all. Why do we need to ask others to be innocent? What's more, she's just married. I thought about it all night, and this was the best result I could think of. I've thought of worse situations before. Actually, I shouldn't have been so pessimistic. He had indeed thought of a worse outcome. In the past, he thought that she was working in a nightclub. When she said that she was selling her body, he couldn't sleep or eat in peace. Fortunately, he didn't find her in that kind of place, right? This was a kind of fortune for them. He had thought about what she had said during breakfast many times. If she was really such a stubborn person, so what if he took her body? He wasn't an impulsive person. When he faced her, especially when he saw her smile at Jiang Zhao, he felt that he was a little late. But it didn't matter if he was a little late, as long as he caught up with her. Since he had already made up his mind, so be it. He had lived a life of plain water for so many years, so he didn't mind waiting a little longer. If Jiang Zhao really entered her heart, then he would remove Jiang Zhao from her heart completely. Only then would he be the safest. Shi Jintian's chest shook. Unwu, if you insist on becoming enemies with Jiang Zhao because of a woman, Grandpa can only give up everything in Haiqing and take you away. We'll go abroad. Unwu lowered his head and continued to paint. He said indifferently, Grandpa, if you want to go abroad, then go. I like being here. Grandpa, I didn't expect that even you don't love me anymore. Jiang Zhao habitually gave Yi Er a morning kiss before he woke up in the morning. He felt at ease. It was as if when he woke up, there was someone by his side whom he could remember. Then he turned his head. The smooth and fair forehead was right there. When he kissed there, it wouldn't be as soft as lips. It wouldn't be like lips where the moment he kissed her, he would want more. It wouldn't be like lips where the moment he kissed her, he would think of endless desires. On the forehead, the kiss was like a dragonfly skimming the surface of the water. It meant that this person was by his side, by his pillow. Jiang Zhao sat up. He hesitated for a long time about this morning's morning kiss. He thought about what she said before she went to bed last night. She said, let's live a good life. She had said this more than once. She was clearly so young, full of vitality, and at an eye-catching age. She said, "Let's live a good life," something that only people who had experienced many years would say. 19 years old. Did she know what it meant to live a good life? Her little tricks were really tacky. In the past, when they met the robbers and saved her, he knew that she had countless tricks up her sleeve. One after another, they were endless. He had never met a girl like her. People said that a great man could bend and stand tall, but he had never met a woman who could bend and stand tall like her. She could change her face in a second. It was even more spring than the weather in spring. Forget it. He only hoped that she could be more obedient. The thoughts of young people nowadays were too avant-garde. He couldn't keep up with them. Yesterday's incident had been caused, and he had taught her a lesson. What else could he do? Could it be that he really couldn't kick it away? His thoughts didn't seem to be so modern. Marriage was a big deal. Divorce was impossible. He wouldn't follow in his parents' footsteps. His child's family must be complete in the future. He was determined not to let his child be upset all day because of his parents. Actually, he should wake her up to drink some water. Her lips were so dry that they were starting to peel. A morning kiss landed on her forehead. However, he didn't move away like before. His lips were on her forehead, and he didn't dare to move. Then, he pressed half of his face against her forehead. The man's handsome eyebrows furrowed. His face left the woman's forehead, and he reached out to touch her forehead. Was it so hot? Yin Yi, Yin Yi. Jiang Zhao caressed Ye's face and rubbed it. It was very hot. Ye couldn't open her eyes. Her head was hurting terribly. Her eyelashes, which were like small brushes, fluttered gently, revealing a slit before closing again. She only remembered that Jiang Zhao had called her, so she responded with a whimper. Are you feeling uncomfortable? I'll get you some water first. Let's go to the hospital. Jiang Zhao hurriedly got out of bed. There was a thermos flask in the room. He took a cup and poured a cup of water. He tested the temperature of the water, mixed some cold water, and brought it over. He knelt on the bed and helped Ye up. He made her drink water. Drink some water. You have a fever. Drink more water. Hurry, drink water. Let's go to the hospital. Ye was really thirsty. She drank the cup of water in a few mouthfuls. After drinking, she turned her head and fell into Jiang Zhao's arms. She felt much better. Hubby, stop fooling around. Let me sleep for a while. I'm tired. Ye slept soundly. She didn't know how long she had slept. She felt that her left hand was very numb. She couldn't lift it even if she wanted to. Her nose could smell the sensitive disinfectant. She slowly opened her eyes. The room was pink. Although it was pink, Ye knew that this was a hospital. Because of the infusion rack, the call button above the head, and the warm reminder on the opposite wall. It was a picture of a beautiful doctor. She wanted to turn over. Just as she moved, she heard the sound of the man's leather shoes stepping on the floor. She also heard the sound of the stool's feet scraping the floor. He seemed to be in a hurry. Jiang Zhao held Ye's hand and slowly helped her up. He was a little happy, but also a little reproachful. Don't use your hand. Be careful that the needle will pierce your blood vessels. You will die on the spot. But your skin is thick, and your blood vessels should be very thick too. I don't think this needle will be difficult for you. Ye looked at her left hand. No wonder it was cold and numb. It turned out that she was receiving an infusion. What did Jiang Zhao say just now? Couldn't this man say something nicer when he cared about others? She was not sick. Why would she be angered by this man's words? Forget it. I won't lower myself to his level. Who asked him to have a mistress? Hubby, why am I hospitalized? Jiang Zhao put a pillow behind Ye's back. He then picked up a neatly folded towel from the bedside table and went to the bathroom. After a while, he came back. The towel was steaming hot. He came over to wrap Ye's fingers and the back of her hand. From time to time, he would rub them for her. Ye felt that her hands were warm and comfortable. This man was so nice and attentive. He must have rubbed her hands many times just now, right? But when the woman's longing for the man surged over like an unending wave, the man immediately used an extremely cold and unparalleled martial art to freeze the huge wave. Jiang Zhao was massaging Ye's blood vessels as he sneered coldly. You had a fever and went into shock from the fever. You almost became an idiot. I can't raise an idiot wife in the future. It's too much of a loss, so I spent money to send you to the hospital. Hey, can't you save me some money? It's hard to earn money. How much do you think your hubby's monthly salary is? If you spend my money again, I'll only give you porridge every day. Yer couldn't believe it. What did you say when you got married? You said that you'll give me abalone and wings every day and raise me like a fox pig. Now you say that you'll give me porridge every day. I'm still developing and will grow taller. You're abusing me. But how much abalone do you have to eat for a day in the hospital? If you eat too much, it's easy for you to be overnourished. Porridge is good. You can have porridge tonight. I want to eat ginseng, abalone, and wings. The doctor said that it was best for patients to eat porridge. Yer looked at the hospital's decoration and the single-room environment. It was so cozy. A special ladies' ward must not be cheap. She pouted and said, "But you can't be so biased, right? Didn't you say that you have so much money that you can buy the entire ninth mansion? How much did it cost you to spend for a day in the hospital?" Cheapskate. Jiang Zhao touched the towel and felt that it wasn't so hot anymore. He then touched Yer's hand and felt that it wasn't so cold anymore. Seeing that she had woken up, he increased the volume a little more. "That's why I told you to study more. It's really scary to be uncultured. You don't understand culture. As the daughter of a businessman, don't you at least know about the market economy?" Yer's blood was stuck in her throat, but she couldn't spit it out. Jiang Zhao continued to provoke her. "You're hospitalized, so you can't get back the money you spent. But Ninth Mansion is different. It's a good location, has good facilities, and a good house. After spending this money, you could just sit back and wait for the value of the house to rise. How can it be the same?" Yer stared at Jiang Zhao. "Jiang Zhao, did I owe you 100 million in my previous life?" He clearly had a grudge against her, so he couldn't help but mock her. "That's right. So in this life, you're here to repay your debt. Forget about the interest. Just pay the principal." Yer was so angry that she couldn't say anything. "You're really..." Jiang Zhao smiled and reached out to press the call button. He raised his eyebrows and said smugly, "Really what? Am I really so kind? I think so too. That's why I'm so kind. You have to save your money in the future and don't spend it recklessly. When we run out of money to eat abalone wings, I'll see how you're going to act like a fox pig." Yer was panting with anger. Jiang Zhao was also like this when he was sick. He didn't even say anything nice to coax her. She didn't know that when she went into shock from her fever in the morning, Jiang Zhao had been scared half to death by her. Beauty novel Hongcha 866. Chapter 509. The city government had a lot of work to do. He had to send the patient to the hospital, go to the office, settle the documents, and then rush back. It was already nighttime, and he had been running back and forth a few times today. The nurse came in, and her service was better than the nurses in the public hospital. She was very polite. When she was taking Yer's temperature, she said, "Mrs. Jiang, don't forget to take your anti-inflammatory medicine when you go back. You must take note of your fever caused by your wound infection." Wound infection? Isn't it because you took a cold shower? Yer's first instinct was that he had a fever. It should be because he had taken a cold shower with Jiang Zhao. The water was so cold. How could he not catch a cold? But why was he fine? Wound infection? Yer suddenly laughed out loud. The nurse was stunned, and so was Jiang Zhao. Why was she laughing like this? Yer scratched his head. Miss, do I need to get a rabies vaccine?" "Why do you need a rabies vaccine?" "Because tilted her head and looked at Jiang Zhao. Her eyes curved into crescents as she smiled. She said coquettishly, "because I was bitten by a dog." Jiang Zhao's face turned black. Miss had been working in a hospital for a long time and had seen a lot of people. She knew how to read people's facial expressions. Furthermore, she knew about the wound on the mayor's wife's shoulder. It was obvious that it was a bite mark. Looking at the deputy mayor's face, Feng Yu knew that the mayor had bitten her. Miss was in a dilemma. This was a high-class private hospital, and all the patient's information should be kept confidential. The mayor's wife scolded the mayor as a dog. This topic was too explosive. She should keep her mouth shut. If she accidentally said something, the mayor would know that she was the one who said it. There was no one else in the room. This was too much. That Mrs. Jiang, you could just get a tetanus shot. Jiang Zhao clenched his fist and placed it around his mouth. Cough, cough. The nurse immediately shut up. Yi, on the other hand, didn't look sick at all. Jiang Zhao waited for the nurse to take Yi's temperature, remove the needle, and leave before he lowered his head and looked at Yi. You want to get a rabies vaccine? Yi was originally happy, but when she saw Jiang Zhao smiling so complacently, she couldn't continue to be happy. Her intuition was that this man was very sinister and immoral when he smiled like this. Hubby, I'm so hungry. Is the porridge ready? After Yi stopped smiling, she immediately changed into a pitiful stray cat. She looked at Jiang Zhao pitifully and asked, Did I really spend so much money that you won't even give me porridge? I'm going to work next month. I need to pay for my living expenses. Please give me some porridge, hubby. Yi grabbed Jiang Zhao's shirt and shook it. Jiang Zhao shook his head and slowly pried Yi's hand away. He rubbed her head as if he was worried about her and said gently, The doctor said to drink more water. I'll get you some water, and then we'll talk about the dog bite and the rabies vaccine. Yi really couldn't figure out what Jiang Zhao meant. It was like a person who was originally gloomy, suddenly sitting in front of you with a smile and saying, Little sister, don't be afraid. Actually, Big Brother just wants to discuss life with little sister. Furthermore, the things in Jiang Zhao's mind were things that she could not understand with her skills. Even if he won by accident, it would be because a random chess player played against a national chess player. He did not follow the rules at all and forced the national chess player to not use the rules. Even if he won, it would be a lucky win. Jiang Zhao passed the water to Yi and sat down in front of the bed. He smiled warmly. Drink some water first. Yi could not drink anymore. Hubby, I'm not thirsty. I'm hungry. Jiang Zhao passed the cup to Yi's mouth and said with a smile, How can you be hungry after receiving the nutrient solution? The nutrient solution is very expensive. It is more expensive than the rabies vaccine. You can't just pretend you didn't lose, right? Yi could not take it anymore. She snatched the cup back from Jiang Zhao's hand and slammed it on the bedside table. She lifted the blanket and straddled Jiang Zhao. She hugged his neck. Hubby, was I bitten by a dog? I was talking nonsense. I shouldn't have lied. Liars are not good children. Jiang Zhao said, Then tell me, how did the wound on your shoulder come about? Yi said softly, Hubby punished me. Why did you punish me? Because I did something wrong. I made a mistake and tarnished my reputation, so I received the punishment I deserved. Then how do you plan to change your ways? For now on, I will follow Hubby's lead. I will never disobey Hubby's orders again. I swear. Yi said and raised 3 fingers to her ear. Jiang Zhao looked at Yi with disdain. Could she say something new? How many times had she said something like this? Which time did she not turn a deaf ear to his words? Come on, you swear? The Jade Emperor, the Heavenly Queen Mother, the King of Hell, and even Jesus have blacklisted you. You have no credibility at all. Who are you swearing to keep an eye on you? I'll send it to my high and mighty Lord Hubby. Jiang Zhao laughed. Ha, good. Are you really hungry? I'm really hungry. Dad should be here soon. He was here just now. When he heard the nurse say that she wanted to give you some porridge, he went out to buy it. From tomorrow onwards, you should exercise properly. Don't fall sick like this again. The whole family will worry about you. Oh, actually I didn't want to. Wasn't my wound infected? At this point, Yi's voice became softer. She carefully glanced at Jiang Zhao. She was afraid that he would say something about her historical mistake again, so she kept quiet. After that, Yi sat back down on the bed. Jiang Zhao said that it was better to cover her up. Although her wound was infected, she still had a cold. She didn't want to catch a cold again. Yin Hongwei carried the thermos into the ward. When he came in, he didn't greet Jiang Zhao and even seemed to be ignoring him. Yi saw that her father was acting strangely. Then she looked at Jiang Zhao. It seemed like he was purposely sticking to her father and looking for something to do. It seemed like he was trying to please him. What was going on? Did she miss something? Yin Hongwei had just opened the thermos when Jiang Zhao immediately went up to him. Dad, you rest for a while. I'll fill it up. Yin Hongwei ignored him. He lifted his elbow and blocked Jiang Zhao's hand. He also moved his body and directly blocked Jiang Zhao behind him. Jiang Zhao looked past Yin Hongwei and gave Yi Er a look. He frowned and winked. Then he lifted his chin and propped up his head in his father's direction. Yi Er was very confused. What was he doing? After Yin Hongwei filled the bowl with porridge, he pulled up a stool and sat down beside Yi Er's bed. Yi Er quickly went to take the bowl. Dad, I'll do it myself. I'm fine. Yin Hongwei held the bowl and dodged. He scooped a spoonful of porridge and blew on it. It was stuffy. Yi Er suddenly felt that the atmosphere was a little heavy. She didn't know why, but looking at her father like this made her feel very uncomfortable. Her father's hair was a little gray. Before he went to prison, he had been very energetic. His hair was black and shiny. Her father's eyes were not looking at her. He was only looking at the porridge in the spoon. When he lifted his eyes and put the porridge in her mouth, his eyes were a little red. Yi Er bit her lip. Dad, what's wrong? Jiang Zhao stood behind Yin Hongwei. He didn't dare to breathe too loudly. Seeing Yi Er's reaction, he knew that today's matter was going to be difficult to resolve. His father-in-law had come with him today. When the doctor did the examination, his father-in-law was also present. When he saw the teeth marks on Yi Er's shoulder, his expression had already changed. In addition, the doctor said that the wound was infected and had a fever. He suddenly became very quiet and didn't say a word. Clearly, when he carried Yi Er to the hospital, his father-in-law kept saying, Our Yi Er has made you worry. She's young and willful. I've spoiled her since she was young and spoiled her. She's not very sensible. At the time, he felt quite guilty because he had always felt that Yi Er was very sensible, but she didn't know how to be emotional. Actually, he could understand how his father-in-law felt. His own daughter was injured and her wound was infected. She had a high fever and went into shock from the fever. No father would be able to take it. Just as he was reflecting, Yin Hongwei turned around and looked at Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao, I have something to say to Yi Er. Jiang Zhao was a little nervous, but he understood that Yin Hongwei was asking him to leave. He was definitely going to say something that he couldn't listen to. Hence, he consciously left the room. When Yin Hongwei saw Jiang Zhao leave, the bowl in his hand began to tremble. He stopped feeding Yi Er and placed the bowl on the bedside table. He stood up and sat on the edge of the bed. He reached out to touch Yi Er's shoulder, but just as he was about to touch it, he paused. His eyes grew redder and redder. When he spoke, he was choked with sobs. Yi Er, do you feel wrong because of Dad? Dad, I'm not. What are you thinking about? Yi Er grabbed Yin Hongwei's hand in a panic. Dad, what's wrong? He bit you, didn't he? Yin Hongwei looked at Yi Er's shoulder. When Dad wasn't around, were you bullied? No matter how much Yi Er wanted to cry, she didn't dare to. She forced herself to hold back her tears. This was her ability. Dad, no one bullied me. Jiang Zhao is very good to me. It's true. Don't lie to Dad. Dad isn't blind. He bit you. If Dad found out that you had to be like this when he came out, Dad would rather stay in there for the rest of his life. Yin Hongwei looked at Yi Er and felt bad. His daughter was only 19 years old. It wasn't as if he didn't know that she had been running around because of him. She had just been married, but her husband had bitten her until she had a high fever and was still unconscious. He thought of something more serious and asked anxiously, When Dad wasn't around, did he hit you? Yi Er was shocked. Jiang Zhao had hit her before, but that was because he wanted to snatch her life from Zhuang Yichen. Why would Dad think that? Yi Er, did he hit you? Yin Hongwei's voice rose a few notches. He squeezed Yi Er's shoulders a little harder. Dad just wants you and Sijia to live a safe and happy life. If you live like this, Dad won't do it outside. Yi Er, you're still young. Get a divorce. Just as Yin Hongwei finished speaking, the door opened again. Jiang Zhao strode into the room. His hands were still clenched at his sides. His brows were tightly knitted together. He looked at Yin Hongwei and called out in a low voice, Dad. When Jiang Zhao saw Yin Hongwei tilt his head to look at him, he wanted to relax his brows, but he couldn't. He wanted to explain, but now that he was in front of a father, no matter what he said, he would be in the wrong. Because of all the mistakes he had made, in the end, he had hurt the daughter of a gray-haired man. especially when he saw Yun Hongwei's red eyes that were about to explode in anger. Jiang Zhao could only call out again, "Dad." Yun Hongwei didn't say anything. He didn't want to respond. He really didn't want to. He could endure anything in prison. There were many ways to force him to confess. He could endure it, but his children were his flesh and blood. Welfare, Xinwu 799. Chapter 510. Si Jie was still all right. Yi Er had always protected him and had never been short of anything. Every time he saw Si Jie grow taller and more energetic while Yi Er lost weight, he felt that he had let down his daughter the most. Yi Er was tall and beautiful. She looked a lot like her mother. Even though she was dressed plainly, she still stood out. Although she was a little sly, she wasn't a bad person. If she didn't have a father like him, even if she had a younger brother like Si Jie, she would still be able to marry into a good family. Even if she didn't marry into a rich family, she would still be able to live a life that was below average. In his expectations, Yi Er would definitely be able to find a man who would dote on her, because Yi Er had been well-liked since she was young. Although it was said that as parents, no matter how ugly or useless their children were, Yun Hongwei felt that his analysis of Yi Er and Si Jie had always been very objective. Yun Hongwei stood up, looked up, and blinked. When he looked at Jiang Zhao again, his gaze was calm. Yi Er looked at Jiang Zhao and gulped. She felt that her father had misunderstood Jiang Zhao. She was at fault for the way things had developed yesterday, so she wanted to smooth things over. "Dad, actually..." Yun Hongwei looked at Jiang Zhao and said to Yi Er, "The sick person should rest well. I'll go out with Jiang Zhao for a while." Yi Er hurriedly explained, "Dad, it's my fault. Jiang Zhao didn't do it on purpose." Yun Hongwei simply couldn't listen to Yi Er's explanation. In his heart, he had already determined that Yi Er was compromising in front of Jiang Zhao for his sake. His ears seemed to be blocked by sound as he walked past Jiang Zhao and walked out. Jiang Zhao could only follow him out. At this moment, he glanced at Yi Er. Then he leaned back and said to Yi Er, "You want a divorce? Dream on." Yi Er watched as Jiang Zhao walked out of the ward. She suddenly burst into laughter and muttered softly, "Who wants a divorce? Seriously." At the end of the corridor, there was a smoking area. It was a slightly larger balcony with a transparent glass door, so the smoke couldn't drift in a corridor. Although the space was not big, Yun Hongwei was the only one standing there. He was facing the night sky outside the balcony, and his back was very lonely, making this place seem especially empty. When Jiang Zhao walked over, Yin Sheridan happened to turn around. When he saw Jiang Zhao, Yin Hongwei felt his blood vessels congeal and his head spin. Jiang Zhao stood on the balcony. The lights in the private hospital were very bright, illuminating his handsome face. He called out softly, "Dad." Yin Hongwei was a little shorter than Jiang Zhao, but not by much. He was just a little thinner. When he heard Jiang Zhao call out to him, he said, "Jiang Zhao, I heard that it was Yi Er who forced you to marry her." After Yin Hongwei said this, he felt around in his trouser pockets as if he was looking for something. It was empty. Jiang Zhao took out a thin, bronze cigarette box that was 2.5 fingers wide. It could only hold 4 cigarettes. This kind of cigarette box could not be seen in the pocket, and it could also control the number of cigarettes a smoker smoked. He opened it, took out a cigarette, and handed it to Yin Hongwei. He also took out a lighter and lit it for him. When the lighter was covered, he slowly put it back into his pocket. Jiang Zhao originally wanted to avoid this question. It seemed that once this matter was brought up, it would be because he didn't want to marry Yi Er. At that time, he really didn't want to get married. No matter who it was, with the way they were dating, it was impossible for them to have the thought of getting married. It was only when they were riding a tiger that he realized that getting married was also possible. At that time, he had no other choice. Firstly, his father was about to come over and explain to the media. As long as he explained, Yi Er's reputation would be ruined forever. Secondly, it would affect his political image. Needless to say, even the Jiang and Qin families knew about this. How could he not know? Thirdly, and most importantly, he felt that only he could protect her. If this matter was made public, Miss Yun would offend even the deputy mayor. She would not be able to survive in Haicheng for the rest of her life. No matter where she went, she would be looked down upon. How could he let his woman be looked down upon? Dad, the marriage was indeed rushed. But when we were doing it, we didn't want Yi heir to suffer. Yun Hongwei took a puff of his cigarette and exhaled the smoke outside the balcony. He held the cigarette between his fingers and let it hang by his side. Although he had been through a lot, he still looked kind. He did not have the unscrupulous look of a businessman. He sighed and said, I know. What I mean is that Yi heir forced you to do this, right? I also know that you're not willing to do this. I know Yi heir. She is the eldest in the family. She is already 10 years old. That's why we have Si Jia. Yin Hongwei did not smoke. He sighed softly and said slowly, Si Jia was born too late. She is the only one in the family. She has been a bully since she was young. She has a bad temper. That is because the whole family has spoiled her. After all, our family is not like other rich families who have many children. It is fate that we have children. Jiang Zhao saw that Yin Hongwei's brows were somewhat solemn, and he really didn't dare to interrupt and explain anything. This was the respect that should be given to people. He was anxious. Although Yin Hongwei had been in prison for a long time and suffered a lot of torture, he was, after all, a self-made man. The tenacity in his bones couldn't be seen from his appearance. He could almost imagine what Yin Hongwei would say, but he couldn't interrupt. Yin Hongwei reached out and pressed his temples. The white ash on the cigarette was a little long. It bent down slightly and broke off. It drifted to the ground and scattered into powder. Actually, she's overbearing, cunning, and always causes trouble. I've thought of ways to prevent all these. I just want to make her look more like a rich young lady. Those rich young ladies are all very dignified, but she doesn't look like one all day long. I was also very anxious, so I asked a teacher to teach her how to play the zither and learn calligraphy. I wanted to cultivate her temperament and train her patience. Yin Hongwei suddenly smiled, shook his head, and continued helplessly. But there was no way at all. She still likes to dance the national ballroom dance. What tap dance, what Latin dance, whatever she can jump as high as she can. Sigh. A kind father leads to a failure of son. I was soft-hearted at that time and didn't properly suppress her, which caused her to become like this. She dares to force and provoke anyone. Yin Hongwei was very upset as he spoke. His daughter was like that in the past, but now that she was married, she seemed to have changed. She always looked at the treasure in his hands, trying to please another man, and was even bullied. Other than feeling upset, he only felt hatred. He hated himself for being useless. He caused such a big trouble and implicated his children. Jiang Zhao breathed out. Dad, Yi heir is very good. It was my fault yesterday. Actually, Jiang Zhao was really unwilling to talk about the new drawing, including the fact that this person was Yi heir's father. We were just fooling around yesterday. I didn't know what was important. Yin Hongwei raised his hand and waved it. He was very angry in his heart, but he spoke very calmly. Jiang Zhao, you don't have to protect her. As her father, I know best what kind of background she has. She only knows how to harm others. In the past, Min Zikai was bullied by her all the time. He paused for a moment and said, You are the mayor, and your family background is in Hai City in Jiang District. How many people can compare to you? The Yun family has declined, and I am involved in a lot of things. Our Yi heir is actually not good enough for you. He had only been back for a day, and he saw his daughter's shoulder being bitten like that. The flesh was torn. How much blood did she lose? What if he was not around? Would his daughter be subjected to domestic violence? When he thought of this, his scalp went numb. Although Yi heir was tall, how could she withstand domestic violence? A man who hit a woman was definitely not acceptable. Dad, you are making it sound too serious. Jiang Zhao raised his voice. He had guessed correctly. Yin Hongwei's words were to continue what he said to Yi heir in the ward. This father wanted his daughter to divorce her husband. Although he understood that a father was upset about his daughter's injury, there was a reason for this incident. If he knew that Yi heir would get a fever because of her wound and burn like that, he would rather bite himself than bite her. He was impulsive at that time, but what was the point of pursuing the reason for yesterday's incident? It seemed like they had made up last night and agreed not to pursue the matter of the painting, didn't they? Everything had an end. He couldn't possibly keep staring at that incident, right? If he kept brooding over the past, how was he going to live his life? Who could be innocent? Who had not done anything wrong? Who was born with a good temper and patience? Who was able to tolerate everything? Yin Hongwei looked at Jiang Zhao. He did not say anything, but the hand holding the cigarette had already flattened the long filter. Jiang Zhao had been very respectful to him since he came back yesterday, but now that he suddenly raised his voice, he did not look like someone to be trifled with at all. The more he acted like this, the more worried he was about his daughter's situation. Dad, I apologize for yesterday's incident, but the question of whether Yi-Er is worthy of me is not something that's nice to talk about right now. Yi-Er is my wife now. As long as I acknowledge her, she is worthy of me. Dad, no husband and wife can live without conflict for the rest of their lives. But I'll try my best to resolve these conflicts. I understand how you feel, but this does not mean that I agree with your decision. Although our marriage did not receive your blessings, it does not mean that I will agree with you breaking us up. Jiang Zhao's tone was respectful, but every sentence was forceful and did not leave any room for negotiation. Dad, I know that you think I bullied Yi-Er. Just now, I heard you ask Yi-Er if I hit her. You must think that I often bully her, but to be honest, I've already done my best to tolerate Yi-Er. I have almost never rejected anything that she wants. I think what happened today has left a bad impression of me, and I will do my best to make up for it. But I will not agree to a divorce. No matter what conditions you propose, I will not agree to them. Even if you ask Yi-Er to sue me, I will not agree to it. If I had thought of a divorce when we got married, I would not have gotten married at all. Why bother? Yin Hongwei did not expect Jiang Zhao to reject him so forcefully. He also did not expect that Jiang Zhao would not leave any room for negotiation and would not agree to any conditions. I did not ask Yi-Er to marry into a rich family. It might be a blessing for her to live a simple and peaceful life. Without great wealth, there would not be great ups and downs. The most important thing for a woman was to have a stable life. Dad, I won't let her experience any hardships. Don't worry. Yi-Er sat on the bed and waited for a long time, but her father and Jiang Zhao did not appear. It was not appropriate for her to go out. She felt that it would be troublesome for a woman to go out at this time. Finally, someone pushed the door open and entered. It was Xiaoya, who was wearing a big black sunglasses. Yi-Er was a little disappointed and called out, "Sister Xiaoya." Xiaoya pushed her sunglasses up and placed them on top of her head. She placed the flowers in her hand on the table and looked around the room. She did not seem like a guest at all. Welfare Songshu 566. Chapter 511. She was wearing a big bag, a long-sleeved dress, and smoke-color high heels. Her figure was extremely hot. She walked casually in the room in her high heels. She was obviously a great beauty, but the words she said were very immoral. Hey, you're a good person. I see that you're sitting on the bed very energetically. Are you waiting for a man to come and pretend to be a corpse? When did you become so despicable? Yi-Er felt that she should call Zhuang Yichen over and let that fierce man teach this despicable woman a lesson. Hey, Sister Xiaoya, please mind your manners. Can't you care about your image as a famous designer? How can you come to visit a patient like this? Visit? When did I tell you that I'm here to visit you? I'm here to laugh at you. Besides, manners are for outsiders to see. You and I are on the same side. Ha! Get lost. I'm not going to get lost. Qiu Xiaoya sat beside Yi-Er. She picked up Yi-Er's hand, looked at it, and patted it a few times. Only when Yi-Er felt the pain did she let go. I'll help you circulate your blood circulation so that you don't have to pretend to be sick. Yi-Er was furious. This Qiu Xiaoya was clearly not here to visit her. How did Qiu Xiaoya know that she was hospitalized? She didn't contact anyone after she woke up. Who's pretending to be sick? I have a high fever and I'm in shock. Do I have a friend like you? If you have a friend like me, you'll benefit for life. Seriously, what are you doing here? Xiaoya swayed her size 35 high heels. I'm paying you, so you're here to help me. Yi rolled her eyes and glared at Xiaoya. Xiaoya, can you not be so snobbish? I'm an injured person. You should at least show some concern before talking to me about serious matters. Xiaoya pursed her lips and patted Yi's shoulder. You're the one who asked me to talk about serious matters. I can see that you're only suffering from some superficial injuries. It's not like you're mentally hurt. You don't have to worry about it. When your heart breaks one day, come and look for me. I'll definitely take good care of you. Yi's shoulder was already hurting a little. She immediately slapped Xiaoya's hand away. Get lost, you jinx. This woman's mouth was vicious. No, I'm here to talk to you about something. I don't want to talk today. When Xiaoya saw Yi's refusal, she immediately stopped looking down on her and started to confide in her. Yi, let me tell you, Sister Xiaoya's been through this before. You can't rely on a man forever. Tell me, in this society, which man is clean? If they don't find a prostitute, they're keeping mistresses. If they don't have extramarital affairs, they're having one-night stands. Today, you're young and beautiful. Tomorrow, when you're older and he's 50 years old, he'll still jump into the bed of an 18-year-old girl. Yi wanted to vomit blood. Xiaoya, I'm going to record you and play it for Zhuangyichen. Let's see if you still dare to say such things. Sister Xiaoya, there are good men in this world. Who's a good man? Your husband? When Yi thought of that guy living in the north of the city, she could only say weakly, of course my husband is a good man. Xiaoya didn't want to argue with Yi anymore. Oh, that's fine too. I can't say anything bad about him, but you should always be wary of the future. Let me put it this way. Let's be like buying stocks. Don't put all your money into a man's stock. Let's buy a few more stocks. For example, buy one for your career. That way, even if the man's stock falls below the issue price, the stock for your career will still rise. When that time comes, you'll find a stock that has fallen below the issue price an eyesore. It won't be a pity to throw it away. Yi obviously wasn't as experienced as Xiaoya, especially since this woman was speaking from the perspective of a friend. Oh, what career? Xiaoya said, I've been thinking of doing a high-end customization for women's clothing. It's different from what we have now. Now, both men and women are accepted from the same place. I want to make women's clothing independent. Yi asked, what has this got to do with me? You could be my model. Model? Yi shook her head. Forget it. I'm considered tall among normal girls. I won't stand out among the models. Who cares about those tall models? None of them can compare to you. You're beautiful and have a good figure. If I start this brand, you can always appear in the magazines with me. I'll give you a high salary. What do you think? Yi finally reacted. Xiaoya. This fox's brain works faster than hers. Yin was just a miss from a wealthy family in the past. How many people did she know? She didn't have much social status. But now it was different. She was the mayor's wife. If her husband worked harder, she might even be promoted to the governor's wife. That would be very different. Yi shook her head slowly. Sister Xiaoya, how much are you paying me? At least 50,000 to 60,000 renminbi a month. A salesman? Yi smiled wickedly. What? How can you treat me like a salesperson? I feel that it's about the same. Xiaoya snorted. The difference is too big. Furthermore, think about it. 50,000 to 60,000 renminbi a month. It's easy to earn this money. What kind of job can you find outside to earn this much? Even if your mayor gives you a job, how much money can you get? Women still need to earn more money. Men can't be relied on. Yi saw that Jiang Zhao had entered the room silently. She didn't know how long he had been standing at the entrance, so she didn't dare to continue. Xiaoya, on the other hand, was still complaining. Look, you know that aunt of yours. She relies on her husband to be a rich man's wife, but she can't give birth to a son. Her husband also doesn't give her a good face. If she was tougher and could earn as much money as me in a month, would her husband dare to give her a good face? Look, if you look, you will be sent flying with a slap and get lost. That's why you should hurry up and work. Don't be so silly and only rely on your man. You need to think about your future. Yi coughed to signal Xiaoya to stop talking. Xiaoya did not respond. She looked up at the ceiling and propped herself up on the bed. She poked Yi's forehead with her other hand. Let me tell you, it's not safe for you to rely on your man all the time. You need to think of a way to get a good job. If your man dumps you one day, you will be able to take care of yourself. If not, you will lose your youth. Yi had never thought of depending on Jiang Zhao for the rest of her life. After the incident with the Yun family, she realized that she could not manage the family business well. Being ignorant and incompetent would not lead to a good ending. Now that she had the chance, she must study. But she did not dare to talk to Qiu Xiaoya. She was worried that she would have a hard time tonight. She called out to Jiang Zhao. "Hubby." Jiang Zhao's face was dark, but he suddenly smiled and clapped his hands. He looked at Xiaoya and praised. Miss Qiu is really capable. Yi did not dare to look at Jiang Zhao. Xiaoya stood up from the bed and rubbed her hands. "Oh, Mayor." The corners of Jiang Zhao's lips curled into a smile, but the fire in his heart was already 8 feet high. "So, you came to see my wife just to brainwash her? I thought you were really concerned about her health. But you came here to teach her to be wary of her husband?" Xiaoya laughed. Although she had not heard about this from Zhuang Yiqin, she knew Zhuang Yiqin and Jiang Zhao were close. She did not know if she had messed up this time. "I'm just saying, you should really tell Zhuang Yiqin what you think. It's all right. We have already broken up." Xiaoya admitted. Jiang Zhao chuckled. "Is that so? I wonder if you can spend all the money you earn in a month? I'm going to ask Zhuang Yiqin if you should reduce your allowance. I don't want Yi to be jealous of you. We all know each other, and if the gap between the rich and the poor is so big, it will affect our relationship." Xiaoya was scolding Jiang Zhao in her heart. If she really want to look for Zhuang Yiqin, no matter how much money she earned, Zhuang Yiqin will clean it all up. "Ha! Mayor Jiang, you really know how to joke." "I do like to joke, but no matter how many shares a woman owns, she still needs to buy a man's check. After all, it's very rare to have a successful career." Xiaoya said. "Jiang Zhao, you are such a wet blanket." Yi and I were chatting happily. "But from what I saw, my wife can't accept your ideas." Jiang Zhao looked at Yi and raised his eyebrows. Yi immediately nodded. Yes. I can't accept it. I can't accept it." Qiu Xiaoya scolded Yi in her heart for being so useless and disloyal. After sending Qiu Xiaoya off, Jiang Zhao felt things were not going well today. His father-in-law wanted them to get a divorce, and he finally agreed to it. Another Qiu Xiaoya came to instill such negative thoughts in her mind. Yi looked at Jiang Zhao's mischievous smile as he pulled out a stool and sat down. Her instincts made her hair stand on end again. It was as if a voice was saying, "Little girl, don't be afraid. Actually, I just want to talk to you about life." Yi was expecting Jiang Zhao to say something, but he didn't say a word. She felt that the atmosphere was a little stiff, so she wanted to break it. "Hubby, school hasn't started yet, so it's not so fast. I want to find a job tomorrow." "Wait, what are you going to do?" Jiang Zhao asked. Yi thought for a while and shrugged. "Let's go and take a look first." "What do you know?" Jiang Zhao asked indifferently. "I know how to dance. I won awards before." "Oh, you're asking me, Jiang Zhao's wife, to go out and dance?" No. I'm going to see if there are any coaching jobs. That's not suitable. With your status, you can't do any job." Yi disagreed. "It's nothing. The head of state's wife is a singer. He's from the arts troupe. The arts troupe is a military unit. How can it be the same? He's an artist. If you go and become a coach, you'll just be a ragtag army. Then, I'll give you a month to choose the profession you want to study. You can't try Qiu Xiaoya's high-end custom-made clothes. Her pricing hasn't been released yet. If she's very high-end, you can't wear her clothes. If people catch you trying to create hype, you'll get into trouble." Jiang Zhao said as he picked up an apple and started peeling it. He continued, "Zhuang Yiqin said that Qiu Xiaoya is careless, but I don't think Qiu Xiaoya is careless. She's always been very calculative. The brand, why, is the crab that Zhuang Yiqin eats first. Zhuang Yiqin is a rich and handsome man. As long as he shows his face in a magazine, he'll be more popular than a celebrity. He just has to casually mention where he got his clothes made, and it'll be worth a lot of advertising fees. Besides, how many people give face to Zhuang Yiqin? During that time, he gave clothes to his friends, and everyone wore them. That's how I became popular in the upper-class circle. The media even praised it and said that this was a good atmosphere. Haiching isn't like the nouveau riche in other cities who pursue expensive luxury goods. Welfare, Xinwu 799. Chapter 512. Yi felt that Zhuang Yiqin was not the kind of person who would help others. Didn't you say that they aren't together anymore? Haha, do you believe that? I don't believe it. Zhuang Yiqin doesn't seem like the kind of person who would make a losing deal. After peeling the apple, she cut out a tooth and inserted the fruit knife into the tooth. She picked it out and brought it to Yi Er's mouth. You're on good terms with Xiao now. It's good that they haven't really broken up. Yi recalled what Jiang Zhao had said before. Her father's matter required her to keep Zhuang Yiqin in check, but she didn't think that Xiao could have any influence on Zhuang Yiqin. That man was so shrewd that she couldn't see through him. Where's Dad? Yi asked as she ate the apple. Dad said that he went to settle the discharge procedures. He also took your medicine. What Jiang Zhao didn't say was that Yin Hongwei wanted to stand on the balcony to enjoy the breeze. He was probably feeling a little sad. Saying that he went to settle the discharge procedures was just an excuse. He wanted to calm himself down before coming in. Sister-in-law. Jiang Zhao saw that Yi was about to finish the first tooth of the apple, so he prepared to cut another tooth for her. As soon as the knife went in, he heard a voice that was so soft that it made his hair stand on end. Yi wanted to laugh, but she couldn't. She laughed dryly. Miss Tsung. Tsung Tingting walked to Yi Er's bedside with flowers in one hand and a thermos in the other. She still looked like a well-bred young lady, but the next second, she pushed Jiang Zhao aside and sat down. She opened the thermos and filled it with porridge. This morning, I heard from Dad's secretary that Jiang Zhao's wife was sick and that she was running around at work. So I called Jiang Zhao. He said that you had a high fever, so I came to take a look. Yi did not know what Sign Tingting was up to. He broke out in a cold sweat. Actually, it's nothing much. I'm fine now. I'm ready to be discharged. Eat something. I heard that it's easy to get weak when you have a high fever and you don't have much appetite. I made some red-skinned peanut porridge. It's nutritious and light. When Sign Tingting finished speaking, she had already packed the porridge. Just as she was about to let Yi eat, Jiang Zhao interrupted. Your sister-in-law just ate half a bowl. Still full. Sign Tingting looked unhappy. She picked up the bowl and took a sip. She glared at Jiang Zhao. Really, you narrow-minded stinky man. Are you afraid that I'll drug your wife? Yi and Jiang Zhao felt awkward at the same time. Yi was being propped up on the table. Even if he wasn't hungry, he could only pick up his bowl and eat. Thank you, Miss Song. Call me Ting Ting. Yes, Ting Ting. Sister-in-law, I'm here to tell you that I want to steal your husband from you. Before Tsang Tingting could finish her sentence, Yi choked on the porridge and coughed. Eating someone from you is the right thing to say. She wanted to bribe her with a bowl of red-skin peanut porridge. Jiang Zhao was only worth the price of a bowl of porridge. Shouldn't he at least exchange it with a bowl of egg-fried rice? Tsang Tingting pulled out a tissue from her bag and handed it to Yi. She continued, I don't think this counts as backstabbing. In today's society, competition is fair. Plus, with my understanding of Jiang Zhao, I can totally take him down. Jiang Zhao clicked his tongue and frowned. He had one arm around his waist and the other on it. His fingers curled as he rubbed his chin thoughtfully. Ting Ting, actually, I think that the next time you talk to your sister-in-law about something so serious, can you bring some abalone porridge or bird's nest? I should be more expensive than a bowl of peanut porridge, right? Yi choked on the porridge again. Was this what it meant to have telepathy? She looked up at Jiang Zhao. Hubby, can we not talk about the porridge and your relationship? I wanted to at least eat some porridge, but it's not very useful. Are you saying that I'm very useful? Of course. Tsang Tingting was ignored again. She was often ignored by Jiang Zhao, so she was used to it. But now, she was being ignored by the couple. She was really irritated. Yi felt that Tsang Tingting was just a little crazy. Being stubborn was not a bad thing, but being stubborn was a little stupid. If it were her, she would have gone to the north of the city to get rid of the guy. No matter what, that guy over there was the real threat. Didn't that big lover say that they had feelings for each other for more than 10 years? What was she? She was the wife in name, but in her husband's heart, she was not even as important as that big lover. So, if she couldn't distinguish the enemy, she was destined to be defeated. But she was not that far off. Sang Tingting's failure was foreseeable, but her failure was unforeseeable. Maybe one day, she would be kicked off the position of Mrs. Jiang by that big lover. Sister-in-law. Sang Tingting endured for a long time this time. After she called out to her, Yi Er said sister-in-law. Sang Tingting stood up and looked at Yi Er, then at Jiang Zhao. She smiled confidently. Sister-in-law, I'll be leaving first. I came here today to say goodbye to you. Tomorrow, I'll be going to Jiang Zhao's building to work. Don't you know that the pavilion closest to the water enjoys the moonlight first? Jiang Zhao nodded. Tingting is right. That's the truth. You've read a lot of books. You can even understand the profound meaning of the pavilion closest to the water enjoys the moonlight first. You're better than your sister-in-law. Yi Er pursed her lips and glared at Jiang Zhao bitterly. She said softly, why don't you let Tingting come to our house to work part-time? That way, you'll be closer. You'll be eating and sleeping at home every day. This way, Tingting can eat at the same table as you every day. Jiang Zhao was unhappy. He felt that Yi Er didn't care about her anymore. She was here to steal her husband. Didn't she know how to steal her husband? Was she an idiot? Sang Tingting snorted. Yin Yi Er, you're going too far. You actually want me, Sang Tingting, to work part-time for you. How do you say that? I'm from the provincial party committee. Yi Er smiled and said, you're the daughter of the provincial party committee's secretary. I know that. I'm not stupid. I'm just unhappy that my husband said that I don't even understand the meaning of the pavilion closest to the water enjoys the moonlight first. I just want to try my best to explain that I understand the meaning of this sentence very well. That's why I asked you to come to our house. But I have to make things clear first. Our house is about 300 square meters. We have 5 rooms and 3 living rooms. Jiang Zhao and I change our clothes every day. Some of our clothes have to be sent to the dry cleaners. Some of our clothes have to be hand-washed. The bed sheets and blankets have to be changed once a week. The floor has to be cleaned every day. Enough. Sang Tingting stomped her feet angrily. Did this Yin Yi really want her to work part-time for her? Bah. Jiang Zhao stood to the side and didn't say a word. He listened with great interest. He always enjoyed this kind of process. Lu Cheng always shook his head when he saw Sang Tingting. He was always afraid of offending her. He ignored her most of the time. He didn't expect that Yi Er wouldn't be afraid of this tough piece of meat and insisted on taking a bite. Interesting. Yun Hongwei took the medicine and lisped into the room and began to bury his head in tidying up Yi Er. Yi Er didn't feel any discomfort to begin with, so she quickly changed her clothes. Sang Tingting wanted to say something, but she was thinking about what to say. This was because she didn't know how to deal with a big wife like Yun Yi. Unlike other women, if they knew that someone was trying to steal their husband, they would come out and make a scene. Instead of saying, you can call my husband and chat with me, she would say, come to my house and work part-time. You'll have more opportunities. If this wasn't a weirdo, then what was? When Unwu found out that Yi Er was hospitalized, he rushed to the hospital without eating dinner. If his grandfather hadn't asked Qin Rongfang out for dinner that night, he wouldn't have known that Yi Er had a high fever and fainted from the fever. Qin Rongfang originally wanted to go over to check on Yi Er at night, but Shi Zhentian invited him to dinner. Jiang Zhao also said that it wasn't a big deal, so he let it go. Unwu found out from Qin Rongfang which hospital Yi Er was hospitalized at, so he excused himself and left. When he rushed to the hospital, Jiang Zhao happened to be walking out of the elevator with his arm around Yi Er. He didn't look well and was so pale that he didn't have any luster. When Jiang Zhao saw Unwu, his lips were pursed into a stiff smile, but no one could tell. Unwu didn't even greet Jiang Zhao and asked Yi Er anxiously, what happened? Why is she hospitalized? Yi Er tilted her head and looked up at Jiang Zhao. Seeing that Jiang Zhao didn't react, she answered Unwu. She caught a cold yesterday and slept a little late, so she got a fever. Jiang Zhao put his arm around Yi Er's shoulder and said, "Honey, when we go back today, let's go to bed early and not stay up late." In the ears of others, these words were extremely ambiguous. Unwu simply looked up at Jiang Zhao. Yesterday, when he asked the heir to take the painting back, he was hoping that Jiang Zhao would find out that he was the one who had painted for Yi Er. There was nothing to hide. He disliked Yi Er. Jiang Zhao replied disdainfully. Yin Hongwei came back from outside the hospital and happened to see a group of people at the elevator door. He said to Yi Er, "We've put everything back in the car. Let's go." The group of people had just taken a few steps when Unwu called out to Jiang Zhao. "Zhao Ge, let's have a chat." His voice was calm and carried a hint of smile. Jiang Zhao stopped in his tracks. He didn't immediately turn around, but patted Yi Er's shoulder and said, "Go to the car with Dad first. It's cold now, and the wind is very strong. You'll catch a cold when it's just right. I'll come over in a bit." Yi Er nodded. Jiang Zhao had warned her not to be alone with Unwu again. She had also agreed, so it was time for her to leave. Moreover, she felt very awkward right now. It wasn't just an ordinary awkwardness, so girls shouldn't casually take nude photos. If they drew nude paintings, they would run into trouble one day. Jiang Zhao was just turning around when Unwu walked over. "Do you want to go to the car? If there's anything you want to say, just say it." Unwu looked much weaker next to Jiang Zhao. However, the light slowly gathered in his eyes, increasing his strength every second. He said provocatively, "You know, right?" The thing that made Jiang Zhao choke was the painting. Yinwa's eyes were telling him, "You know, right?" Yi Er's body was very beautiful. She clenched her fists and smiled faintly. "It seems like this isn't a suitable place to talk. Let's go upstairs." When Jiang Zhao finished speaking, he had already taken a long step to the side of the elevator. He reached out his hand and poked the triangle icon with his well-defined fingers. He softly said, "Okay." Unwu followed and stood beside Jiang Zhao. His elegant and beautiful appearance made Jiang Zhao's handsome face even more furious. The elevator went straight to the 5th floor and stopped. Jiang Zhao walked in front, and Unwu followed behind. The two of them entered Yi Er's room. When Jiang Zhao closed the door, he pressed the Do Not Disturb button. Just as the light was pressed and Unwu steadied himself, Jiang Zhao suddenly threw a punch at the left side of his face. This punch directly hit the spot where Unwu was standing. He bent over and held his face, rubbing it. The taste of blood filled his mouth. Jiang Zhao reached out to unbutton his suit and wanted to take off his clothes. Talk your ass." Just as he took off his clothes to his elbow, Unwu suddenly looked up. His fair and slender fingers suddenly clenched into an iron fist and lifted it up. Jiang Zhao was just about to catch Yinwa's fist, but his suit had just been taken off. This slow slap caused him to be pushed against the wall by the force of gravity. A line of blood immediately appeared at the corner of his mouth. Awesome novel, Shinwu 799. Chapter 5:13. Yinwa's punch was extremely fast. His eyes, which were originally as cold as moonlight, were now stained with bright red blood. Jiang Zhao's back was against the wall. When he saw the fist coming, his neck quickly tilted to the side, causing the fist to hit the wall heavily. Taking advantage of this split second, he raised his elbow and hit Yunwa's back with full force. There was limited space at the entrance, and at this moment, the two tall men took up a lot of space, making it even more cramped as they fought. The fight didn't look spectacular, and it was very childish. The two men lay on the ground on their sides, twisting their elbows to pin each other down. Their eyes were fierce, but they were both injured. Unwu panted, "Jiang Zhao, there's no point in hogging something that doesn't belong to you." Jiang Zhao smiled faintly and replied, "Unfortunately, she can only belong to me." Yinwa's expression was extremely calm, but the strength in his hands didn't weaken. But she doesn't love you. She just had to rely on you because she had no one to rely on at that time. If she had known about my family background earlier, do you think she would have been with you? She would have relied on me willingly instead of being forced because she trusts me." This was the thing that Jiang Zhao didn't want to talk about the most. and he didn't want to think about it in detail. He had always thought that as long as they continued to be together, they would develop feelings for each other. Someone once said that women and men were different. If a man had no interest in a woman from the beginning, and if he couldn't develop feelings for her, he wouldn't be able to build feelings for her. But women were different. Even if she married a burly man, even if she didn't love him at first, as long as that man treated her well, she would forcibly brainwash herself and tell herself that this man was good to her and that she could love him. Then, many years later, she would realize that she really did love him. When she had lied to him about getting into a car accident, he knew that he had fallen. He had completely fallen. If he had fallen, so be it. He had accepted it. Some people could only see the end of their relationship after a lifetime. He was considered lucky, wasn't he? However, the problem between them did not last long. Many years later, they had not been married for long. Before he could make her feel that he was good, there were already groups of people jumping out and trying to sow discord between them. Shi Yunwoo said that Yi-er trusted him? Fuck you. If she didn't trust me, she wouldn't have asked me to draw for her. Don't you know that? Hearing this, Jiang Zhao's face changed. He hated this. Thinking of this, his blood surged. He thought that it was necessary to dig a basement here immediately and bury Shi Yunwoo in the basement after killing him. He wanted to make this wolf in sheep's clothing disappear from the world forever. Jiang Zhao suddenly felt an uncontrollable force rush out of his body. The original stalemate instantly changed. Jiang Zhao flipped over and pinned Yunwoo down. He broke free of their bindings and threw a punch at Yunwoo's face. He took a deep breath and spat at Yunwoo. You're so pathetic that you think too highly of yourself. Why do you have to say such words without any confidence to comfort yourself? Yunwoo indeed had no confidence. If his words had hit Jiang Zhao's weak spot, then Jiang Zhao's words had also hit him where it hurt. He exploded with strength and did a small carp flip, sending Jiang Zhao, who had just gained the upper hand, to the ground. Yi-er was waiting anxiously in the car. Why did the two of them take so long just to have a chat? She was not at ease at all. She was very anxious, especially since she knew the cause and effect of the incident. Yunwoo was a simple person, but Jiang Zhao's performance yesterday made her know that Jiang Zhao would not give up so easily. Yi-er knew Jiang Zhao's mentality, but she did not know Yunwoo's intentions. She started to worry and said to Yin Hongwei, Dad, I'll go up and look for Jiang Zhao. Why is he still not down after so long? Yin Shidi said, Don't go. It's windy outside. Didn't Jiang Zhao ask you to wait for him in the car? I still want to go and take a look. I'm still worried. Yi-er did not listen to Yin Hongwei. She opened the car door, pulled her sweater, and walked into the hospital. Jiang Zhao was not in the lobby. She did not see anyone in the high-end private hospital. She went to the reception desk to ask and was told that Jiang Zhao had pressed the elevator and went upstairs. Upstairs? Which floor? Who was he looking for? Just when she was about to take out her phone to call Jiang Zhao, the elevator opened and a nurse, Miss, ran out. She ran to the reception desk and said to Miss from the consultation desk, There's a fight on the 5th floor. Mayor Jiang went in with someone and pressed the anti-disturbance lights. I don't know what to do now. Help me answer the call from the hospital director and ask him to think of a solution. Miss said while stomping her feet. Yi-er had already run to the elevator and pressed the triangle button a few times. When the elevator opened, she rushed in. Fight! Fight! She knew that this matter would not end here. When she reached the 5th floor, she turned on the anti-disturbance lights and opened the door. She stood at the door and looked at the two men fighting. She was stunned. You too. As soon as Yin heard Yi-er's voice, he immediately withdrew his hand. At this moment, Jiang Zhao's leg came over and kicked him in the stomach. His entire center of gravity shifted, and he fell back, barely landing beside Yi-er's feet. When he raised his eyes to look at Yi-er, his eyes were filled with grievance and injustice. Yi-er had never seen Yunwoo like this. It was not because of his injuries. It was because of his eyes. He used to be calm in the past. Even if he did not have any desires, he was not weak. He had never shown any grievances before. Unwoo. Yi squatted down and helped Unwoo up. His lips opened a few times, but no words came out. The moment Jiang Zhao saw this situation, he knew it was over. Xinyo, that bastard, actually dared to play such a trick. In this world, other than Jiang Zhao, no one else knew about his grandson's background. He was no longer a child. Given the relationship between the Shi family and the Lei family, even if it was for his grandfather's sake, it was impossible for him to spread the news. Yin Yi, come over here. Jiang Zhao raised his hand to wipe the blood from the corner of his mouth. When he saw that Yi was about to get up, Shi Unwoo, that bastard, actually cried out in pain again. Yi immediately squatted down and helped him up. I'll call the doctor for you right now. Just bear with it. Unwoo immediately grabbed Yi-er's hand and fell into Yi-er's arms. He was very sensible and did not blame Jiang Zhao at all. It's okay. I'll go back later. I don't see patients outside. I have a family doctor at home. It's fine, don't worry. Jiang Zhao closed his eyes. It's over, it's over. How come I didn't know that there was such a good actor in this world? That look of wanting to eat someone alive just now disappeared in an instant. No wonder this best actor could take the hits, even though he could have dodged them. Was it to make it seem like his injuries were more serious? As expected, his skills were profound and his endurance was extraordinary. He couldn't do it, especially when he saw his wife hugging another man and comforting him. He couldn't do it. Yin Yi, I'll say it one more time. Come here. Know your place. Yi raised his head and looked at Jiang Zhao. Then he looked at Yunwoo's face, which was already beyond recognition. Why did Jiang Zhao hit him so hard? Wasn't this a little too harsh? Wait a minute, I'll call a nurse for Unwoo. Unwoo thought that perhaps Yi also had feelings for him, but at this time, he had to know his limits. If he overdid it, it would be meaningless. Go to Zhao Ge. There was a misunderstanding between us. You don't have to blame him. Besides, when I couldn't take it anymore, I hit Zhao Ge too. We're even now. Go ahead. When Yi heard Unwoo say, when I couldn't take it anymore, I hit Zhao Ge too, she felt incredibly guilty. She was the one who wanted Unwoo to draw the painting. Yesterday, she wasn't satisfied with being bitten by Jiang Zhao. Today, she hit Unwoo again. In any case, she had implicated Unwoo. What did a boy like Unwoo do wrong? Why did he have to be beaten so badly? It was impossible to say that she didn't blame Jiang Zhao in her heart. However, when it came to Jiang Zhao, she didn't have the confidence she had when it came to Minzi Kai. She didn't dare to be rash or act recklessly. She couldn't say anything, but what she could do was to ignore him. Yes, ignore Jiang Zhao. Okay. Don't be stubborn. Lie down for a while. I'll call the nurses. These nurses don't dare to come in. Just wait here. Yi didn't look at Jiang Zhao. She directly laid Unwoo flat, stood up, turned around, and walked to the door to pull it open. Unwoo lay on the floor. When he heard the sound of Yi turning around and walking away, he raised his head and looked at Jiang Zhao, who was standing inside. He raised his eyebrows and smiled. This could be considered a strategic victory, right? When Jiang Zhao saw this, he got angry. He closed his eyes and told himself to calm down first. This Shi Yun's tolerance was too good. If he still vented everything out, he would really be done for today. Yin Yi, Jiang Zhao called out to Yi. His voice sounded a little rushed, and it sounded like he had used a lot of strength. Yi heard him clearly and immediately turned around. What's wrong? I'll talk to you. Jiang Zhao continued to pant. His shoulders slumped, and he staggered a step. He reached out to support himself against the wall. Yi had already turned around to support his other arm. Jiang Zhao said, don't go out. Open the door, call the Shi family, and have them come and pick me up. If you open the door now, I'll be in the news tomorrow. You want your husband to lose his job, don't you? Jiang Zhao's words were intermittent, and he was already injured. At this moment, his brows were furrowed, and it seemed like his injury was serious. Yi saw that Jiang Zhao's injury wasn't as serious as Yun was, but his voice and speed were too scary. Yi reached out to touch his body. Where are you hurt? During Jiang Zhao's fight with Enyu, he had hit Enyu's face, so the inner wall of his mouth was damaged. At this time, there was already some blood in his mouth. As long as he sucked harder, the blood would come faster. He didn't speak for a long time, like he was in too much pain to speak. Unwoo was still lying on the floor, and he groaned softly. Yi was worried about both sides. Unwoo was still able to groan, but Jiang Zhao looked like he was in pain. Yi asked Jiang Zhao anxiously, "What happened?" Jiang Zhao waved his hand, telling Yi not to worry. He was fine. However, when he turned around and sat down on the bed, he spat out a mouthful of blood on the bed. Yi was scared out of her wits. Before Jiang Zhao could say anything, she ran out like a gust of wind. The sound of the door being unlocked was loud. Then Yi ran outside and shouted, "Doctor, doctor!" Jiang Zhao heard the commotion outside and smiled. He immediately stood up from the bed and walked to the entrance. He looked at Unwoo lying on the floor and kicked him. He laughed. "Once you get up, Yin will be back before you can fight back. Ha! Come and see. Hong Chai 866. Chapter 514. After saying that, he looked at Unwoo, who wanted to get up but was holding himself back. He immediately walked back to lie on the bed and said proudly to the ceiling, "Shi Unwoo, the floor is so cold, isn't it? It's more comfortable on the bed. You should know what it means to be a married couple now, right? My marriage certificate with Yin Yi was stamped with a steel seal, not an advertisement on a telephone pole. Do you understand?" Unwoo clenched his fists and trembled. Just now, Jiang Zhao's saliva was diluted into a bloody foam. Yin's blood was really stuck in his throat. He shook his fist and hammered the ground. Jiang Zhao sneered, "You're quite strong. Your body is really good. Why don't you think about who you're scheming against? I have a problem. What I like to do the most is a tooth for an eye for a life. Don't be my enemy, because I'm very petty." Although Jiang Zhao's words were a little overboard, he was indeed a vengeful person. If he was scheming against, he didn't care about the small matter. As long as it didn't affect the big picture and it was related to the big picture, he would consider the big picture and not pursue the matter. Even he had a bottom line that he couldn't cross. Stealing his wife? No man could accept it. He couldn't cripple or kill Shi Unwoo now, but he could return the tricks that Shi Unwoo had used on him. He couldn't return a tooth for an eye for a life, but at least he had to return a tooth for a tooth. Didn't Shi Unwoo, this grandson, pretend to be seriously injured? Fine, he couldn't let himself be wronged. He had to add another kick to make up for this grandson's performance. Didn't Shi Unwoo pretend to be pitiful? Who didn't know how to pretend to be pitiful? His wife acted cute, coquettish, and pitiful for him every day at home to gain sympathy. Even if he hadn't eaten pork before, he had watched a pig run for a long time. He had no choice. He had a good master at home, so he didn't act without reason. Jiang Zhao, that's all you can do. Let's see who can last longer. I'll keep you company. Jiang Zhao lay on the bed and stretched. Just by relying on the difference in treatment between us now, one on the bed, the other on the floor, let's see who can lie down for a day. Unwoo was so angry that he had to take deep breaths to suppress his impulse. He really wanted to jump up and beat up Jiang Zhao, but he was worried about Yi-er's footsteps outside. Yi-er dragged the doctor into the room. When Jiang Zhao heard the sound, he immediately turned to the side and curled up. He frowned in pain. Yi-er asked someone to carry Unwoo to another ward. Yi-er did not notice Yunwoo's resentful and reluctant gaze. She quickly walked to Jiang Zhao's bedside and reached out to grab Jiang Zhao's hand. "Tell the doctor, where are you hurt?" "Huh?" Yi-er was really anxious. Jiang Zhao was a very boring person. She knew that this man was definitely a male chauvinist. Didn't all men who grew up in a place like the Qin family think that they were dying of manliness? Of course, Qin Fian was a weirdo. Jiang Zhao definitely thought that he was quite capable and manly. He was determined not to admit that he was seriously injured in front of a woman. The more Jiang Zhao did not say anything, the more Yi-er was at a loss. "Doctor, why don't we just send him to take an x-ray?" Yi-er was originally the one hospitalized, but now the roles were reversed. It was Jiang Zhao. Yi-er also stayed in the hospital. She simply asked Yin Hongwei to go back. She had to take care of Jiang Zhao when they went to pick up her brother tomorrow. When the time came, She would send someone to pick him up with her father. This way, it wouldn't affect each other. Jiang Zhao fought with Unwu and was injured. He definitely couldn't go to work, but the reason for his injury was actually acting bravely for a just cause in the report. The next day, Yi Er drew the curtains open to let the sunlight into the room. The withered branches and leaves outside were blown around by the wind. Other than evergreen plants like holly, it was really a bleak scene. Yi Er thought about Jiang Zhao's acting bravely for a just cause and was speechless. She didn't know what kind of righteousness this guy saw and what kind of bravery he had. She turned around and saw Jiang Zhao leaning against the headboard and reading the newspaper. She walked over and sat down. Yi Er said as she peeled an apple, "Hey, you really have the nerve to write such a reason for your injury. Even I feel embarrassed for you." Jiang Zhao looked indifferent. He flipped through the newspaper in his hand and swung his legs. He didn't look like a patient at all and sighed. "Actually, I'm also very embarrassed, but this was written by Lu Cheng without my permission." So this is Lu Cheng's fault? If Lu Cheng didn't write a leave for you, what are you going to report? Jiang Zhao thought for a moment. He flipped through the newspaper in his hand and continued reading. "I have to think about what kind of injury I suffered to get more compensation and a longer leave. It's best if it can be recorded so that it'll be beneficial for my promotion in the future." As he said that, he clicked his tongue. Lu Cheng is also brainless. How can he be so unskilled when applying for a leave of absence? I have to talk to him properly next time. My salary is so low. I should ask him to check if I have work-related injury leave that is 3 to 5 times my salary for a day of injury. Yi Er wanted to stab the fruit knife in her hand directly into the man's mouth and twist it until his intestines and stomach rot. He couldn't say such immoral things anymore. Aren't you afraid that someone will investigate you? Say that you made a false report? Oh, Jiang Zhao pursed his lips and shook his head childishly. I'm so scared. Haha. Yi Er decided to finish peeling the apple and stuff it into the man's mouth. That was the most important thing right now. Otherwise, if she let him continue being so smug, she would feel inferior. Jiang Zhao saw that Yi Er wasn't going to banter with him anymore, so he put the newspaper on his lap. Yi Er, you want to see that brat this morning, right? No. Yi Er handed the apple in her hand to Jiang Zhao. I plan to go take a look later. Just like how I cut it yesterday. Jiang Zhao glared at Yi Er and said angrily. Oh. Yi Er started cutting the apple again. Jiang Zhao said coldly, when I was injured and hospitalized, if you dared to take a step out of my room, I'll teach you a lesson. If you don't believe me, you can try. You were the one who injured him. He didn't hit me? Take a look for yourself. Am I not injured? What's more, that brat Shi Unwu is a wolf in sheep's clothing. I told you to stay away from him, not discuss it with you. Yi Er's expression changed. Unwu was a special person to her. They weren't very close, but strangely, she felt like he was a very good friend. It could be said that for a long time, she found a lot of comfort on Wudong Street because of those eyes. It made her believe that there were still clean things in the world and that the world wasn't that ugly. It was just that she happened to encounter ugly things and people. However, she wasn't completely unlucky because she met such a clean boy. When she was in a bad mood, she liked to go there to look for him. Sometimes standing by his side and watching him draw was also a kind of enjoyment. When Jiang Zhao told her to stay away from Unwu, she could agree, but she couldn't tolerate Jiang Zhao insulting Unwu like this. You really are something. You told me to stay away from him, so I stayed away. Why did you have to attack him personally? I was the one who brought up the matter of drawing. You've already bitten me and punished me. Now you're picking on other people's matters. What kind of man are you? Jiang Zhao was stunned. He knew that no one around would believe that Shi Unwu was the biggest liar, but he still wanted to tell Yi Er that Shi Unwu wasn't what he appeared to be and should stay away from him. This person was too dangerous. As her husband, there was nothing wrong with reminding her like this. What was she doing now? Why was she filled with righteous indignation? Protecting him? I'm not a man. Jiang Zhao's expression darkened even more. His voice gradually became muffled, as if something was stuck in his throat. It was uncomfortable. I'm not a man. He's a man. You care so much about his image? Isn't he a wolf in sheep's clothing? A personal attack? So what if I'm attacking him personally? You're my wife. So what if I'm attacking him? No matter who I attack, you should be on my side. You're my woman. Don't you know where you stand? Yi had already stood up, but when she heard Jiang Zhao's last sentence, she was stunned and couldn't leave the room. It wasn't because she was touched, but because of where he stood. Her position had always been that she had to obey him. Otherwise, everything that happened to her would become unbearable. Someone would come and snatch her younger brother away. Someone would immediately send her father to prison. She relied on him to make a living. Suddenly, she remembered what Xiao Yiqiu had said. She was right. Women were useless and deserved to be bullied. A man could kill and seize with a wave of his hand. You had no right to argue with him about who was right or wrong. You had no right to argue with him. What he said was the rules. His rules were the rules. Yi lowered her head and sat down. She continued to slice the apple. She had always been able to tolerate it. It wasn't the first time he was being unreasonable. What was there to be uncomfortable about? He had said before that she shouldn't think too highly of herself and shouldn't be calculated with him. She placed the sliced apple next to Jiang Zhao's mouth. Eat it. Jiang Zhao looked at Yi and suddenly felt like burning the house down. No matter how angry he was, she could choose to ignore him and treat him lightly. A 19-year-old girl actually had such skills. She definitely wasn't human in her previous life. Thinking about what Yin Hongwei had said, did he really wrong her? What did he do to make her feel wronged? Ever since she got together with him, he didn't even ask anyone to take care of her younger brother. He was just waiting for her. When she said that she missed her father, he would think of a way for her. Although he wasn't completely acquitted, being released from medical treatment was much more comfortable than being in prison. He also asked Zhuang Yichen to speed up the investigation of the opponent. He saw that the house she lived in was small and old. He had long wanted to change it to a bigger one. After all, she used to be Mississippi. Even if she wasn't a miss from a wealthy family, he had a reason to let his woman live a better life. He had never shortchanged her in food and clothing. He didn't even give her living expenses. Instead, he gave her one of the company's dividend cards and never asked how much she spent. He tried his best to get closer to her family. He brought her younger brother to the amusement park and was polite when he spoke to her father. He never put himself in a high position. But the feeling he got from her was that when it came to a critical moment, she immediately obeyed him with the attitude that he was still useful to her. She really didn't feel that he was good at all. He didn't even know how she would treat him after the incident with her father was over. Reveal her true colors? Jiang Zhao suddenly had a self-harming thought. This day would come soon. He really wanted to fight with her. He really wanted to know how she would bare her fangs and brandish her claws to him when he was no longer of any use. Yinwu's ward was on the 4th floor. Shi Jinqian rushed over after receiving Yi's call. He was so scared that his soul almost left his body. Only he knew that Yinwu's heart had been replaced. He was most worried about whether his life would be in danger after being beaten like that. The family doctor naturally followed him, but Unwu refused to be discharged and insisted on staying in the hospital. If it was anyone else who had beaten Unwu, he would have killed that person's entire family if they dared to lay a finger on him. But it just had to be Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao was also hospitalized. Since ancient times, beauties were trouble. Beauty novels Hongcha 866. Chapter 515. Unwu said generously, "Grandpa, this isn't a matter of whether I can bear it or not. I want a renewed picture of Yi, and Jiang Zhao knows about it. He now knows that I like Yi, so we have a grudge. But this is between the two of us. It has nothing to do with the family." In the face of Yunwu's relaxed indifference, Shi Jintian only wanted to grab a vase and smash it on Yunwu's head. He wondered if that would wake him up. This grudge had nothing to do with the family? Could have nothing to do with it? This was the daughter-in-law of a wealthy family, not the daughter-in-law of an ordinary worker's family. If anything happened to her, the whole of Haicheng would know. No one would be able to shut their mouths then. You don't know what's important. Shi Jintian scolded loudly. This was something that had never happened before. I don't know what's important? Grandpa, When I met Yi, Jiang Zhao was still squatting in some corner. What's wrong with me drawing a picture of Yi? I do like Yi. Am I wrong? Yin was originally casual and slow speech became hurried and agitated at this point. I'm already 20 years old. Am I wrong to like a girl? I didn't start liking her after she got married. I've liked her for a long time. You told me not to be shocked, not to be angry, not to have any desires, but Grandpa, is that something I can control? I controlled myself before. I thought it wasn't because I liked her. I've been controlling myself too much, and that's why Jiang Zhao got away with it. Did I want to create such a situation? Just because I had a heart transplant, I couldn't be happy for more than 10 years. Now that my heart is fine, is it too much for me to want to get a girl I like? Is it too much? Unwu, don't get agitated. Grandpa, don't be like this. You always tell me not to be agitated, not to be agitated. But yesterday, I was very agitated. I hit Jiang Zhao, and Jiang Zhao also hit me. My heart is fine. Grandpa, I can be agitated. I can have emotions like a normal person. I can be unhappy. I can get angry when I encounter something that makes me angry. I can vent my anger when I can't take it anymore. I can use the power of jealousy to rush into my fist and hit people. I can use my anger to fight against my love rival. Yin's eyes turned red, and his decibel level suddenly rose again. With a long howl, Shi Jintian, who was scared to tears, hurriedly stepped forward and patted Yun's back. Unwu finally calmed down. He grabbed a pillow from behind him and hugged it in his arms. He mumbled, Grandpa, I could do all of that. I could do all of that. Do you understand? Grandpa, don't say such things to me in the future. I'm a normal man. I can get angry and fight like Jiang Zhao. I'm a normal person. I'm not a patient. I'm not. Tears flowed down the boy's elegant and beautiful cheeks and fell on the pillow, creating a pool of wet stains. Unwu, it's Grandpa's fault. Grandpa hurt you. If Grandpa didn't take that path in the past, our family wouldn't have encountered such a thing. Even if we didn't become rich, we would still be safe and sound. You wouldn't have suffered so much in the past 10 years. Unwu. Shi Jintian wrapped his arms around Unwu and comforted him. He always felt helpless whenever Unwu was sad. He used to be a mafia figure who could cover the sky with one hand. After the Lei family was destroyed, he changed his name, but he still had power. Naturally, he had many servants. However, after Yun's heart was changed, he didn't trust any of the servants. He had to do most of the chores himself. He was a burly man who could call the wind and summon the rain. He had to learn to be gentle, patient, and indifferent. He had to learn not to be rash or impatient. For someone who had worked in the underworld before, this was undoubtedly torture. However, for the sake of this young man, he persevered. Most of the time, he naturally felt that he was Elder Shi. He was used to it. He thought that Unwu was used to it too. However, Unwu cried and complained to him, I'm a normal person. I'm not a patient. I'm not. He looked at his grandson, crying in grief and indignation. He wished that he could shorten his lifespan and die earlier so that his grandson could live happily. Unwu was a normal person. He could do many things. He could be more outstanding than many people. However, he couldn't snatch Jiang Zhao's woman. The Lei family was destroyed. The Jiang and Qin families' help couldn't be ignored. If the Jiang and Qin families hadn't helped cover it up and used their power to edit a large number of files and records, it had long been dug out by some of his enemies. He still remembered when old Jiang called him and asked, What are your plans for the future? At that time, he looked at little Unwu on the bed and said to old Jiang, I only want to have a place in the right path. Let me and my grandson live a peaceful life. Old Jiang asked, Do you think it's reliable to change your name? He said, Change your surname to Shi. That's all I ask for. One shouldn't bite the hand that fed them. Even if the Shi family had a place in the right path, he shouldn't have hurt his old friend who took the risk to help him change his records. Which family's grandson wasn't the apple of their eye? Unwu, Grandpa will take you out to have some fun. You'll be fine after a round. Unwu closed his eyes and sighed. He couldn't understand the concept of friendship because he had no friends since he was young. He only knew that Sister Hua was good to him, so he had to be good to Sister Hua. Ague was loyal to him, so he had to be good to Ague. Pierre had been good to him for so long. Since his grandpa refused to help him, he had no choice but to help himself. Grandpa, I don't want to go out to have fun. After I recover, I want to go to work at the company. I'm already 20, and I only go to the company on Mondays and Fridays. I don't think that's right. After all, everything in She Empire needs to be managed by me. I think if I'm busy at work, I'll think less. I'm glad you think that way. Unwoo couldn't see Shi Jintian's consolation and couldn't hear Shi Jintian's joy. He looked out the window, and his eyes were distant. His hands that gripped the pillow tightened into fists. He thought to himself, Jiang Zhao, even though the sea is wide, you have to be careful or else you'll hit a reef and capsize. Seeing Yunwu's gaze drifting away, Shi Jintian felt something was off. He didn't dare say anything, but he was worried that he might hurt Yunwu's pride. He thought about it and decided to strike from the side. In a serious tone, he said, Unwu, actually, we're indebted to the Jiang family and the Qin family. Without their help, we wouldn't have been able to leave Japan safely, and we wouldn't have been able to grow so smoothly. However, Elder Jiang and Elder Qin have never mentioned their kindness and help, and they are very careful with their words. They are afraid that I might feel indebted to them, so they purposely put me down. Unwu, this kind of affection is not something that can be explained in a short period of time. Grandpa wants to force the brotherly love from the previous generation onto you. That's my fault. However, is the so-called love between a man and a woman really more important than everything around you? Unwu kept looking out the window. He watched as everything outside the window began to blur. When he heard Shi Jintian's last word, he called out softly, Grandpa. It wasn't that he didn't hear it, but he listened very carefully. Anyone who had experienced the ups and downs of his life would understand the meaning behind it. He took a breath and slowly exhaled. Let me be alone for a while. Unwu put the pillow down, lay down, pulled the quilt over himself, and closed his eyes. Let me be alone for a while. Shi Jintian nodded. Okay, Grandpa will go out first. Prosecutor's office Yan was wearing a navy blue inspector's uniform with a small badge pinned on her chest. Her hair was tied up at the back of her neck, and she held a file in one hand in front of her chest. The sound of her black, ordinary 5-centimeter high heels walking on the smooth and clean floor was fast and powerful. She walked forward with her head held high and her chest puffed out. She looked straight ahead and said to Zhu Yu, a female colleague beside her, since someone reported Yun Hongwei's case, it should be investigated. Moreover, it should be investigated deeply. Zhu Yu also quickly followed Yang Yin. But Inspector this matter. Zhu Yu looked around and whispered, let's go to the office and talk about it. Okay. Yang Yin was a rare beauty in the inspection department. When she was at work, even if her gaze was very firm and she talked about business with a very serious expression, her voice was still very gentle. It made people feel that she was a person who had never been angry. Naturally, she was very popular. After closing the office door, Zhu Yu sat opposite Yang Yin. Inspector, we can't touch this matter now. Why can't we touch it? It's not that you don't know. Although the function of the inspection department is there, we are also restricted in many things. Yang Yin smiled. Her smile had always been warm and had the effect of calming and reassuring. You mean that there's an authority involved now, right? Yes. And this case is not assigned to us. Why should we get involved in this muddy water? Forget it. Don't tell anyone about this matter. I'll let you know later. Seeing Zhu Yu go out, Yang Yin stretched out her hand on the desk and leaned forward to pick up the phone. She tilted her head and put it on her shoulder. Her jade-like index finger poked the phone number dial key. His eyes darted around as if he was deep in thought. As he listened to the beeping sound from the phone, he tapped the table lightly with his hand. Hello, the person on the other end said. Yang Yin said with a smile, Director Shun, I'll treat you to lunch. Attention. Friendly reminder, another black-bellied man has appeared. Oh, the sun has risen from the west. You're actually willing to treat me to lunch. It seems that you haven't released the grain this month, and you haven't released the bonus this year either. Yang Yin swiped the landline phone and dragged it in front of her. Then she sat on the chair and lay back. She stretched out her finger and twirled the phone line. She pretended to be angry and said, "Treating you to lunch. Do I have to release the money after the work? You don't have to find such an excuse to refuse, do you? I can't ask for more. Where is it? You can book the place." The man on the other end of the phone teased, "I want to book a place to take a nap. Will you treat me?" "Sure, and I'll ask a beauty to massage you." "How about it? With you here, why should I ask for something far away? Why don't I trouble you?" Yang Yan's face turned cold, but she put on a smile in an instant. "Here we go again. Do you want to eat or not? I'll count to 3. If you don't agree, it will expire. CC, you're so sincere. Let's meet at the Sea Moon restaurant. Welfare, Shinwoo 799. Chapter 516. Shinkai was Yang Yan Sr. They both majored in marine biology. He was now the head of the procuratorate. He pursued Yang Yan in university, but at that time, Jiang Zhao and Yang Yan had a good relationship. No one could get in between them, whether they coveted Jiang Zhao's sister or Yang Yan's brother. So at that time, there was a saying in Ocean University, "Childhood sweethearts are scourges, and the scourges are rooted in Ocean University." The boys thought that Jiang Zhao was a scourge, while the girls thought that Yang Yan was a scourge. They even started a war of words in the forum. What is Yang Yan? She pretends to be 13. Look at her. 13 is not enough. You men just like green tea bitches. Jiang Zhao is a scourge? Is he worthy of Yang Yan? Look at you women. Their brains are full of sh*t. Why would they fall for such a block of ice? These were considered light. The more serious ones were being attacked, splashed with leftovers and splashed with ink and juice. These were considered high-level treatment. In the years since Yang Yan left High City, Shinkai would send her emails from time to ask about her recent situation. He didn't know that one day, this woman suddenly came to the inspection department and became his subordinate. The news that followed was that Jiang Zhao got married. The bride was not Yang Yan. This was good news. Flirting with Yang Yan every now and then was a compulsory lesson for Shinkai. If Yang Yan invited him to dinner, she must have something to ask him. He didn't believe that she would invite him to dinner because she missed him. Therefore, he deliberately dawdled and looked at his watch until Yang Yan called to rush him. Only then did he walk up the stairs leisurely. Pushing open the door of the private room, he saw Yang Yan taking off her uniform jacket and hanging it up. The uniform of the inspection department was ugly. It was very dark. The shirt inside was not stylish, and the pants were also very old-fashioned. However, Yang Yan tucked the shirt into her pants and tightened the belt around her waist. The pants were probably trimmed, and the size was just right. The curves were really good. It wasn't like some of her colleagues' pants, which didn't show her figure at all. Shinkai was serious at work, but he couldn't help making fun of Yang Yan when he saw her in private. She didn't like him anyway, so it was only fair for him to make fun of her. Otherwise, it would be a loss. "Look, there's no place to take a nap here. You're starting to take off your clothes now. Look at you. You're always so careless with your words. I'm really sorry for your handsome face." Shinkai had already pulled out a chair and sat down beside Yang Yan. He picked up the white porcelain flat-bellied teapot on the table and poured himself a cup of tea. After taking a sip, he patted Yang Yan's leg and said, "Wow, you're praising me like this. Don't tell me you like me." But it's a little too late for you to take a fancy to me now. There are so many beauties in their 20s flirting with me all day long. Yang Yan pushed Shinkai's hand away in disgust and sat down opposite Shinkai. "Don't worry, the end of the world is fake. I won't really fall for you." "AI, why are you sighing? Isn't it exactly what you want?" Shinkai said, "But haven't you heard of this before? Men are like this. They hope that every woman they like will love them to death. Even after they break up, they still want to love each other. This way, they will have a sense of accomplishment." "Ah, you really know how to fantasize. When I meet a woman like you, how can I survive if I don't fantasize?" Shinkai took the menu and flipped through it. He stopped joking and asked, "What made Inspector O willing to treat me to a meal?" Ouyang Yin was straightforward. "I want to take on Yun Hongwei's case." "Reason?" Shin Kai looked serious again, but he was still looking at the menu. Ouyang Yin said, "He is almost out on parole for medical treatment. As far as I know, he has recovered from his injuries. Aside from the previous mayor's incident, is Yun Hongwei's business so clean? In 2003, didn't his food company also have a batch of problematic food? After this incident was resolved, did he really not use any underhanded methods? In 2004, High City's Bologna raw materials ran out, but he bought all the raw materials in advance and sold them to a mahogany factory at a high price. Is there any illegal transactions in between?" Shun Kai's eyebrows were straight, making his handsome face look harmless and approachable. He had gained a lot of social advantages. At this moment, his eyebrows were furrowed. This tall man had long hands, and the service bell was in the middle of the big round table. He pressed it gently, and the waiter came in. "Order." Ouyang Yin did not say anything and waited for Shun Kai to order. The waiter was around. It was hard to say anything. But Shun Kai flipped the menu to the end and started reading again. While reading the menu, he asked the waiter, "Is the jellyfish salad sweet and sour, or is it sesame oil and spices?" The waiter had informed the waiter about the identity of the guest when she came in. So, she replied politely, "Chief Shun, it's sweet and sour." "Oh, forget it," the waiter immediately said. "You can make it into sesame oil and spices for Mr. Shun. I will inform the kitchen." "No need, I don't like jellyfish." The waiter was stunned and cursed in his heart. "If you don't like jellyfish, why did you ask?" Ouyang Yin glared at him and cursed in his heart. Shin Kai continued flipping the menu. "How about the fresh oysters here?" The waiter said, "Mr. Shun, our fresh oysters are directly flown in from North America. They're all deep-sea wild. Forget it, I don't like to eat raw things." The waiter immediately said, "Mr. Shun, our oysters can also be baked and grilled. They are equally delicious." Shin Kai shook his head regretfully. "No need, I don't like to eat oysters." The waiter and Ouyang Yin were petrified. "All right, I know that your sea cucumber is good. I heard that the soup has been left for a long time." Shin Kai closed the menu and tilted his head to look at the waiter standing beside him. The waiter thought, "This business is not going to fail, right? There was hope this time." "Yes, Mr. Shun. Our sea cucumber is the most famous in High City. The chef's soup uses more than 70 secret ingredients, and it has to be left for 3 days. Forget it. Didn't they say that it's not good to drink water that has been boiled for a long time? Besides, the soup is still the same. Scallops, old chicken, bones, and some other things. More than 70 kinds of ingredients? Why don't you say 700 kinds?" The waiter already wanted to hold the table, but the restaurant's rules forbade the waiter from touching the table. They couldn't appear lazy, but she really wanted to give the head of the procuratorate a hammer. Don't think that she couldn't do it just because he was good-looking. She relied on commission to make a living. Was it easy for a worker like her who relied on part-time jobs to earn some extra money? Unless he was willing to be her boyfriend, she wouldn't care about the commission. All right, don't think too far ahead. The most important thing was to attract business. When doing business, one had to welcome customers from all directions, including those who were picky. The waiter flashed 8 teeth. "Mr. Shun, it's impossible to have 700 kinds of ingredients. The pot isn't that big, but I definitely can't get the recipe. After all, this involves intellectual property. These 70 kinds of ingredients should be our master's secret ancestral recipe. Speaking of which, it's really mysterious." Shinkai could tell that the little girl seemed to be somewhat dissatisfied with him. Her tone sounded a little disdainful and a little aggressive, so he made a sound of surprise. What did you hire a little sister with such a big mouth?" The waiter chuckled. "It means that our restaurant is constantly updating and striving for the best. In the food and beverage business, one must have a good mouth. One must know how to speak and taste the dishes. Otherwise, how can one provide service in food and beverage?" Shinkai asked with interest, "What's your name?" "Xia Qian." Shinkai repeated as if he didn't hear her clearly. "Cheap." The corner of Xia Qian's mouth twitched. Oh, Mr. Shun, it's like this. The Xia in summer means the Xia in the previous season. The Qian in Qian means 3 drops of water. The cheap means a shell. Understand? Shen Kai laughed. Oh, you can speak English? Haha, Mr. Shun, I was afraid that you didn't understand Mandarin, so I added a sentence. Are we going to communicate in the language of the little foreign devils? Haha, I support our country. I support our country. Mr. Shun is really patriotic. You don't even worship foreign languages. You're not like those foreigners on TV nowadays. They have to insert a few English letters into a sentence in Chinese to show that they've studied for a few days. She's not afraid that the old lady in front of the TV won't understand. Shin Kai felt that something was wrong when he heard this. He frowned and asked, "Didn't you just insert a few English letters into your sentence?" Xia Qian scratched her head. Haha, I'll be more careful next time. The next time I meet you, Mr. Shun, I'll definitely not use a single letter in my sentence. Are you talking about me as an old lady? Haha. Xia Qian thought for a while. Not all good-looking people were useless. They were quite smart. It was just that they pretended not to understand what they were supposed to understand and insisted on understanding what they were not supposed to understand. No, didn't you understand? The one who doesn't understand is an old lady. Oh, then were you mocking me or yourself? No, I just said casually. I didn't think too much. Xia Qian thought about it and decided not to argue anymore. The customer was God. Holding the ordering device in her hand, she looked at the unhappy Ouyang Yin and smiled at Shin Kai. Mr. Shun, our 2-headed abalone here is from Australia. Oh. Shin Kai suddenly remembered something and threw the closed menu on the table. Give me 2 servings of egg fried rice, a salad of shredded kelp, and a loofah soup. That's all. Xia Qian was stunned for 2 seconds. She cursed in her heart. Damn it. You've tortured me for so long, and you still have the nerve to order such dishes? You still have the nerve to be a civil servant? You bastards. Do you want to give me a tip for ordering such lousy dishes? Master. Xia Qian wanted to wait for the lady's reaction. She wanted to make a face, but the woman smiled gently. Mr. Shin really knows how to save money for me. Comrades in the inspection department should be diligent and thrifty. They should do their part to purify society, the man said righteously. Xia Qian nodded politely at Shun Kai with a smile. The dishes will be served in a moment. Please wait a moment. After going out and closing the door, Xia Qian continued to curse in her heart. So you can't do business when a woman is treating you. Women are all stingy and petty. You even let a man stand up and refuse to order good dishes. How insidious. Purify society? You want to purify society and come to Highway Restaurant to eat egg fried rice? You've purified society too thoroughly. My brain is about to short circuit. You're blocking my path to wealth. You're really a jerk? A jerk. She curled her lips and cursed in her heart. Is it easy to earn some money? Is it easy? I've worked so hard for half a day. My mouth is dry from talking, and I only managed to sell a serving of egg fried rice. I can't live like this. She stomped her foot as she thought about it. Watching the waiter leave, Ouyang Yin said, You ordered such dishes because you're afraid that you'll be short-sighted? Shin Kai smiled. Inspector O is really understanding. You're indeed the most popular inspector. Do you have to? Welfare, Xinwu 799. Chapter 517. That's right. Now that you're thinking of ways to send Yin Hongwei back, what benefits can I get? The eldest daughter of the Yun family had a falling out with Jiang Zhao because of this matter. I just happened to be helping them out and doing you a favor. Shin Kai simply leaned back in his chair and crossed his arms. Hey, Ouyang Yin, although I'm an honest person, that doesn't mean I'm stupid. I'm not stupid. Why should I do such a thankless thing? Ouyang Yin's mouth stiffened. What benefits do you want? Shin Kai shrugged lightly. You think I'm stupid, but that doesn't mean you're stupid. You're very smart. You know very well what benefits I want. Even if I want this benefit, you won't give it to me. Why say it out loud and hurt your colleagues' feelings? Ouyang, Yin realized that the men around him were all old and cunning. The things they had when they were young were all gone. Each one was more calculating and more realistic than the other. You're so direct. Shinkai laughed out loud. Do you like tactful ones? But didn't I get rejected by you in the past? It's just that I can't get it. So why should I be stubborn? Am I right? Ouyang Yin said, now I realize that what you said is quite right. What is it? Men hope that the woman they liked will always love them to death, even if they break up. Women are also so vain. They hope that the man who liked them will never change his mind, even if they don't love him. Shinkai shook his head and said slowly, fairy tales are only suitable for a certain age. We remember all the fairy tales we read when we were young, but now, if we think about those stories again, we'll only smile. Those books will be treasured and placed on the bookshelves, but at our age, it's impossible for us to open them again and read them carefully and with relish like when we were young. The books we like at this age are inclined towards philosophical thoughts, social life, economic development, and self-cultivation, but they will never be inclined towards fairy tales. Ouyang Yan's face stiffened. She felt that Shun Kai's words were like ice being scooped up from the river in the dead of winter and smashed into the depths of her blood vessels. Her whole body was frozen stiff. What was she? The fairy tale in Jiang Zhao's heart? I can't go back anymore. She didn't believe it. Shun Kai's lips parted as though he had seen through her. Yun, you've really missed out on Jiang Zhao. He's in the same batch as me. If you had been with another guy back then, and I felt that you had rejected me, I would have pursued him. But with Jiang Zhao, there's no need to fight over him. He's too stubborn. At that time, you had your eyes set on him. None of us would have had a chance. You dumped him in front of everyone in Ocean University. Everyone in Ocean University knows that you two have a good relationship. If it were someone else, wouldn't they curse 8 generations of your ancestors to death or find someone to pour acid on you? Do you think you can dump a man like him? I'm also in the circle of government agencies, and he hasn't messed up because of you in the past few years. His self-control, although he used to be my rival in love, there's one thing I have to admit. No matter what, he's a good man in the eyes of women like you. It's just that he has a family now. Based on his personality, whatever you do will be futile. And Yun, there's some things that don't go too far. Our circle also has its unspoken rules. Do you think you can fight against Jiang Zhao? Do you think family Ouyang can fight against the Qin family? Even if family Ouyang is great, they could defeat the Qin family and take the #1 position in Shanghai. Can the family Ouyang afford to offend the Jiang family in the east? Ouyang Yin was trembling with anger because Shun Kai completely disregarded their previous relationship and threw her unbearable and bloody situation in front of her. Her self-esteem and image were trampled to pieces just like that. She was a proud Ouyang Yin. In front of a man who liked her and pursued her, she was ashamed. If you don't want to help me, then so be it. What's the big deal? If you don't let me get involved, can I do it myself? Shun Kai suddenly changed his calm and good-tempered appearance. His handsome face had a pair of bright eyes. He raised his voice and snorted. He said angrily, Ouyang Yin, I'm talking to you nicely now. Don't get into trouble and let your father clean up your mess for you. What are you trying to prove? To prove how much you love Jiang Zhao. You love him, but you didn't know how to cherish him back then. Now that he's someone else's husband, you're not convinced? Why are you not convinced? Not all the women in the world are dead. That's why Jiang Zhao found Yunyi. Are all the men in the world dead? Do you have to hang yourself on that tree? Can't you put away your self-righteous pride and start afresh? If Jiang Zhao doesn't have feelings for Yunyi, it's fine. But Ouyang Yin, if he has feelings for Yunyi, you're not playing with fire. You're playing with your life. You should know him well. Shun Kai. Ouyang Yin was trembling with anger. She slammed the table and stood up unsteadily. Don't go too far. I'm going too far. Shun Kai smiled. Ouyang Yin, I'm not the kind of fool who likes a woman. I know she doesn't like me, but I'm still trying to help her find true love. I'm not Jesus, so don't think I'm going too far. Ouyang Yin took a deep breath. Jiang Zhao didn't care about their old relationship. Even this pursuer who had been in contact with her for the past few years didn't care about their old relationship. Men were indeed fickle. Shun Kai slowly sipped his tea. Oh Yang Yin, if you want to talk about conditions, then act as if you want to talk about conditions. But let me tell you, to me, you are not so attractive that I would give up my career to shed my blood for you. After all, I'm already past that impulsive age. Who told you not to pursue me earlier? You're so self-righteous. Ouyang, Yin said disdainfully. Shinkai rubbed his face impatiently. Hearing Ouyang Yin say that, he didn't feel comfortable, but his attitude was there. Whether he was self-righteous or thinking too much, he didn't want to suffer any losses. Xia Qian led the waiter into the private room and placed the dishes one by one on the table. She said with a smile, "All the dishes have been served. Please enjoy." She thought to herself, "Stingy. You only ordered 2 small dishes on such a big table. You 2 stingy people will stuff themselves to death." Shinkai took a thick Korean steel spoon and scooped up a spoonful of egg fried rice. "Your service here is pretty good. I'm not dissatisfied with the egg fried rice." Xia Qian served the dishes. She crossed her hands on her stomach and stood in a standard posture. "Mr. Shun, what are you saying? The customer is God. You can't measure the customer's status by the dishes they order." She thought to herself, "It's bad enough that you ordered such lousy dishes, but you still said such immoral words. Do you know how hurtful your words are? Stingy." By the time Xia Qian finished speaking, Shinkai had already swallowed a mouthful of egg fried rice. He nodded repeatedly to express his approval. "That's good. In the future, I'll come here at noon to order egg fried rice, shredded kelp, or tomato and egg soup for my work meal. These dishes are very affordable here." Xia Qian still maintained her smile. "Every returning customer is our Ocean Moon restaurant's honor. What's more, a regular customer like Mr. Shun even ordered a lunch here." Ocean Moon Restaurant is very surprised. Shinkai put down his spoon. He didn't look at Ouyang Yin, who couldn't eat a single mouthful of rice. He tilted his head and asked Xia Qian, "Little sister, you really know how to talk. How long have you been working here?" "A month. I've never seen you. I'm in the middle class because my classes are basically in the afternoon this semester." "Oh, school." "Yes, a part-time job. Ocean Moon Restaurant is actually recruiting temporary workers." Shinkai frowned. Xia Qian said confidently, "It's a big company that doesn't stick to one type of talent. The manager thinks that it's not easy to find a high-quality waiter like me. Even if I'm only in the middle class, she still wants me." "Are you sure your surname is Xia and not Wang?" Xia Qian studied media, so her brain reacted quickly. She immediately understood that Shun Kai was deliberately mocking her as Old Lady Wang. In the service industry, one had to endure all kinds of customers unless one had no backing and couldn't bear it anymore. Only then would one go to the manager. Of course, if one had a backing, one had to endure it even if one couldn't bear it anymore. This was because it was useless to go to the manager. The manager would rather fire you than cause trouble for the restaurant. Xia Qian's lips curved. "I don't think I'm that old, so my surname is just right. Well, I'm 60. I'll change my surname to Wang. That's more appropriate." "Haha, interesting, interesting." After Xia Qian left, Ouyang Yin was still so angry that she refused to eat. Shinkai held a spoon and said to her, "If you bring up Yin Hongwei's case in 2003, you'll be causing trouble for yourself. This industry isn't small, but it's not big either. You can't dig too deep into it. Once you do, the roots will be intertwined and the vines will be intertwined. If you want to dig deeper, you'll have to cut off the roots above. But the roots above are the roots of other trees. Is this something you can just cut off?" The person who helped him get rid of the media was the director of the provincial TV station. Now he's been promoted, but this person was able to become the director because of your father's support. Ouyang Yin felt a chill in the soles of her feet. It kept drilling into the crevices of her bones, and it was getting higher and higher. Her knees were so cold that she couldn't move them. She reached out and rubbed them. Shinkai slowly took another bite and drank some soup. Seeing that Ouyang Yin didn't dare to make a sound and had no more food in her mouth, he continued. When the news of the 2004 tsunami came out, he immediately saw that the price of pineapple was going to rise, so he bought almost all of the pineapple in Haiqing. After that, he sold it to a mahogany furniture manufacturer at high price. He was indeed very business-minded. Not only did he take out all his living expenses, he even went to the bank to borrow a huge sum of money. Do you know who approved this huge sum of money? Ouyang Yin trembled. Her voice was very soft. Who? Who do you think it could be? It has nothing to do with my uncle. Ouyang Yin's intuition told her that Shun Kai was definitely going to say that it was someone from the family Ouyang. She didn't believe him. Shun Kai smiled faintly and said with a hint of provocation, "Your uncle approved it. When your uncle approved this sum of money, didn't he have any tricks up his sleeves? After all, that sum of money came so quickly. Others might not know about the unspoken rules of this circle, but how can we not know? Your uncle is now in the headquarters. Once this matter is dug out, will it really benefit you? Yun, don't put on a righteous face to bring someone to justice. Let me tell you, people like you, me, and Jiang Zhao were thrown onto this path. To put it bluntly, we were thrown onto this path to serve our family, Ouyang. Although it's not right for me to say this, you know best that your father pushed you onto this path to make things easier for the family Ouyang, not to cause trouble for them. If your father really wanted you to Wu Yu's carefree life for the rest of your life, he would have let you be a teacher and not come to the procuratorate. The procuratorate isn't a government office with a lot of money. You know that very well. Welfare Songshu 566, that you're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.